Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. Glad to have you along. Welcome aboard, friends. Joe O'Donnell and Tom Reed with you. And if you're wondering why we're starting at 8:52 Central Time, well, it'd be news to us as well. But it's a late one. Tom Reed, glad to be here. My friend, should be a fun one with the Florida Panthers here, and they are one heck of a hockey club.
Well, thank you for waking me up, Joe, to begin with. I'm here. I'm past my bedtime, as you know, right now. But you know what? This should be a good game. They're the Stanley Cup champions. Until they're dethroned, they will remain the Stanley Cup champions. This is the team I picked to maybe repeat as the Stanley Cup champions, if they can stay healthy. Minnesota has not had the luxury of being healthy this year, but at the same time, it can change in a hurry. So we'll see. Have to wait and see what happens here as we go along.
So the Panthers are wrapping up a road trip here tonight. They are 19-11-2 on the year. They have 40 points. Monday they won in Edmonton 6-5, getting 3 goals in the third period. After trailing that game 4-3 at the second intermission, they were outshot 30-28, but they got their 19th win of the year in a Stanley Cup final rematch on Monday. The Wild have been off since Sunday when they fell at home to Vegas 3-2, giving up that game-winning goal, sort of that the breaking of the tie, if you will, early in that third period. A puck that redirected past Jesper Wallstedt. It was credited to the Golden Knights' Victor Olofsson, and again a 3-2 loss for the Wild on Sunday. They are 27-4, still second in the Central Division, second in the Western Conference. And Tom, they haven't suffered back-to-back regulation losses all year. We've talked about it a ton. Every time the Wild have lost a game, we said, how will they respond? How will they respond here tonight, do you think?
I think they'll do well. They're playing against the Stanley Cup champions. That should jack up the guys a little bit just because of that. And the fact that Minnesota has won the last 3 games against the Florida Panthers is a good sign for them. So you just have to come out, play their game. They know they've got injuries. They've been able to overcome that with the play of the guys coming in here. So hopefully it'll work tonight.
It's Marc-Andre Fleury back between the pipes for Minnesota. Sergei Bobrovsky gets the start for the Florida Panthers. The Wild going back to 12 forwards and 60 after Sunday in the second. To make his Minnesota to 12 and 6. Puck drop next from St. Paul. It's the Wild and the Panthers. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
There's only one thing better than going to a Minnesota Wild game, and for me, that's breakfast. My breakfast always has to include Thomas's. They've got the crispy, warm nooks and crannies of a Thomas's English muffin, or sometimes I'll go with a crunchy on the outside Thomas's bagel. For me, Thomas's is the best way to start my day, and it should be yours too. With over 130 years of breakfast under their belt, Thomas's is ready to bring your breakfast to another level, because with Thomas's, breakfast tastes better. Hey, Wild fans, you want your family to be warm and comfortable during our Minnesota winters, right? That's why it's good to know the knowledgeable and friendly dealers at Bryant Heating and Cooling who will do whatever it takes to keep your heating system running safely and efficiently, no matter what the weather throws at you. Plus, score up to $2,600 in tax credits on qualifying Bryant systems and ask about rebates and financing for qualified buyers. Find your local dealer at Bryant.com. Bryant, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild.
At the Home Depot, we know the world is a messy place. Keeping it clean takes science. That's why businesses everywhere have long trusted cleaning products from Ecolab to take on the toughest messes. And now, that level of clean is available for your home. Introducing Ecolab Scientific Clean, a full line of professional-grade cleaning products for all your home's needs, so you can clean like you mean business. Now available exclusively at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with the new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
Hey Wild fans, this is Kirill Kaprizov.
They score! Kaprizov! 4 down!
Happy holidays from all of us at the Minnesota Wild.
Minnesota Wild Hockey is presented in part by your Bryant Heating and Cooling dealers, doing whatever it takes since 1904. Anderson Windows and Doors, love the life you see. Catalyst Supply Co.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from the Felinos and the Minnesota Wild.
Toyota, official vehicle of the Minnesota Wild. Tria Orthopedics, official team physicians of the Minnesota Wild. Xcel Energy, proudly powering the great state of hockey with safe, clean, and reliable energy.
Kaprizov racing in. He's got some space left side. Center. Erickson.
What a play by Kaprizov once again. He's your leader.
Now, live from the arena, he's Tom Reid and Joe O'Donnell.
Press box, Xcel Energy Center, St. Paul, Minnesota, ready to go. The Wild and the Panthers. The Wild wearing their 78s, the retro sweaters here tonight. Skating from right to left on your radio dial in the opening period. The Panthers skating from left to right in the first. They are wearing their white uniforms. It is Gaudreau, Foligno, and Jones with Spurgeon and Chisholm for Minnesota. Tomas Nosek on the opening faceoff for Florida again. Fleury and Bobrovsky. A couple of future Hall of Famers in between the pipes for their sides. We're underway here in St. Paul. As Foligno outlets, Jones hits the red line right side, tried to spirit one in, it was batted away. And the Panthers take over. A.J. Greer flipping it along. Now Nico Mikkola to carve it through center, where Spurgeon plays it to Chisholm. Handed along left side for a tip in by Gaudreau. Foligno the first man in on the forecheck. Met there immediately by the Panthers defense in the former Gustav Forsling. Left point now, Jonas Brodin for the Wild. Back behind the cage, it's Zuccarello taking over. Matt Zuccarello in his 2 games coming back off injury, 3 total assists. Here is pass so swiped away. The Panthers with numbers if they want it. Nosek carried in. Zuccarello dealt with him, and hustling back was Faber. Nothing there on that potential odd man rush for Florida, Tom.
Yeah, good defensive play by Faber. Also came in to help out. Just got to stick on the puck, and that breaks up the system and allows Minnesota to come back out of the defensive zone.
Marco Rossi over the blue line. Zuccarello cross ice to Kaprizov, and he fanned on a one-timer. A hurried pass from Zuccarello, and whipping at it, but not able to connect, was Kaprizov. Back-to-back 2-goal games coming in for the Wild's leading scorer. Second in the NHL in goals, tied for second in points. Entering this hockey game with 47 points already this season. Aaron Ekblad now for the Panthers. Of course, Florida, the defending cup champs. They'll head man here. Lostarinen in with a shot, kicked out by Fleury. Rebound out in front, Fleury the save. He made another right pad stop as well on a chance in tight from Sam Reinhart, who leads Florida in goals. Kulikov now off to Reinhart. Met behind the net by Jonas Brodin. Sam Reinhart back on it. His 12th road goal of the season came Monday in Edmonton. He had a goal and an assist in their 6-5 victory. Reinhart checked back of the cage, muscled it free. Lostarinen. At 2, Lostarinen. Back to Reinhart. Once more, Lostarinen. Again to Reinhart. Try to cut out in front. Fleury's poke check denied him the path. Panthers working to Kulikov. Right side with a shot. And that puck ricocheted just wide. Boy, that chance got past Fleury, but leaked out the backside. More pressure here for Florida, Tom.
Yeah, Joe, and I think the Panthers realize they lost the last 3 games against Minnesota. They say that's not going to happen again, and boy, they are coming with their like there's fire coming out of those skates right now. They're playing very, very well in this early moments of the first period.
Zuccarello got one out the center, takes back over just inside his own blue line. He was the only player up front unable to change there. The Wild just got it a few feet outside the blue line. Right back in go the Panthers. Matthew Tkachuk upended. Hartman now for Johansson in a one-on-one with Nate Schmidt. A spin move by Johansson, and Schmidt not phased, stayed with him. Johansson able to maintain possession, center. Boldy a shot, and that rose off the right arm of Bobrovsky and caught the glass.
Johansson's really had a good start to the season this year. Last year a little bit lax, but this year that has not been seen at all.
Nate Schmidt lugs it ahead, kicked one back, stolen by the Wild Spurgeon, and now Boldy with numbers here if they want it. Boldy carrying in, he's got help to his right. Hartman, don't feed it that way. Hartman, a shot, and a glove save by Bobrovsky. Johansson to the rebound, trying to float it to Hartman. That hit a body. Tkachuk now leans on Johansson, and the Panthers come ahead. Great pace early in this hockey game. Here's a chance right off that dumped-in puck by the Panthers. They try to center, batted away by Boldy as Evan Rodriguez, the veteran, was trying to throw that puck towards the Wild slot. At the point now, Forsling angles it along. We played almost 4 minutes, and really gone the last few minutes, it feels like, without a whistle. Panthers work one on the point. Ekblad carries through the high slot, took a shot, he scores. Aaron Ekblad rang one over the crossbar in. And the Panthers have the game's first goal at 3:48. Ekblad lasering one far post.
Yeah, that's just his second goal of the season. Also, the goal 14 assists on that, but he's a guy that got the puck on right at the blue line. He steps in about 4 or 5 feet from the blue line, right in the center, takes a shot. I'm not sure there's a body in front to take away the vision of the goaltender, Marc-Andre Fleury, or not, but it comes early on here in this hockey game at exactly 3 minutes and 48 seconds of the first period. Ekblad, guy's been around 11th year now, all with Florida here in the National Hockey League.
Well, Fleury was looking to his left and then last second looked to his right, and the shot had already gone past him at that point. So the Panthers off and running. They're 13-3-0 when getting the game's first goal. Their 13 wins when scoring first, tied for second most in the league entering play today behind only Minnesota with 14 first goal wins. There'll be a comeback bid needed by the Wild here tonight at home. The 5-game homestand for the Wild wraps up on Friday with the Utah Hockey Club in town. Then Saturday the Wild are in Winnipeg as we near the holiday break across the NHL in just under a week from now. Jonas Brodin from out of his own zone for the Wild. Up now for Gaudreau. Here's Adam Abrams.
Aaron Ekblad, assisted by number 70, Jesper Boquist, and number 25, Mackie Samoskevich. Time of the goal, 3:48.
Chisholm to Gaudreau. He'll help this puck out the center ice. Almost 5 minutes gone by in the opening period. Shots are 5-1 Panthers. Chisholm to Spurgeon. Laid back along for Chisholm. Thrown up for a backhand tip by Marcus Foligno. Kaprizov in on the forecheck, trying to dig it free. Now Rossi supports left wing corner. Rossi checked by Tkachuk, and then Ekblad. So Kaprizov rejoins the scrum. They'll muscle it to the point. Chisholm had a bouncing puck kind of get away from him. Kaprizov fights to get back on this puck now as Zuccarello from the left circle spins it around the boards. Spurgeon at the right point. Into the corner for Kaprizov. The long reach of Ekblad tipped it away for a moment. Now Zuccarello, goal line left side, came out in front, tried to go cross ice. That pass deflected. Spurgeon recovers it. Found Kaprizov carrying up high, and he'll rifle a shot that tipped wide. Chisholm activates and gathers a rebound for Minnesota. Quickly to Rossi, who spins it around the boards. Zuccarello trying to trickle it loose for Kaprizov. The Panthers able to dig it free and sky it ahead, where Matthew Tkachuk goes to work. They'll protect for a moment, shift one along. A pass then by Barkov was blocked. It comes back to Barkov now outside the right circle. Alexander Barkov, backdoor, a shot stopped by Fleury on Rodriguez, who is wide open. Rodriguez stays with it. Now Tkachuk a drive and a blocker saved by Fleury. A bit out of position, but again able to fight off a chance by the visiting Panthers, who are buzzing early.
Yeah, goalies like to have work, but I don't think this about much work in the Minnesota defensive zone. Fleury's been phenomenal so far. 6 shots have come his way already.
Johansson won a forecheck battle as the Panthers unable to come up with it cleanly. It was Uvis Balinskis that had some trouble in his own zone. Now Boldy at the red line left wing boards, flicking it along, hoping for Hartman. Jesper Boquist back. He partially turned it over. Kulikov, the former Wild blue liner, looks to get it loose for Florida. Boldy harasses him. Boldy won the battle. Tap to the point. Brodin across the blue line with a shot. Bobrovsky got knocked down, but has the puck underneath them, and he's able to get a whistle.
Yeah, good shot by Brodin from that blue line also right to the net, and goaltender able to grab onto it. That'll get the stoppage of play.
13:21 to go in the opening period. The Wild trail the Panthers 1-0 here at home. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
Deck the halls
with boughs of holly,
with a channel featuring generation after generation of country stars.
'Tis the season to be jolly,
and their heartfelt holiday sounds.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
From back then to right now.
It's officially Christmas.
Country Christmas, now through December 25th on Channel 58 and on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders, the revenues, and the big business,
and the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app.
Score!
Under review.
Avalanche goaltending sucks. There's no other way around it. They have the worst team save percentage in the National Hockey League. Oh, sure, they can score goals, but they can't prevent them. And this is why I don't take the Avalanche seriously as a Stanley Cup contender, no matter how top-heavy they are with future Hall of Famers. Their goaltending's bad.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
It's a member FINRA.
Now 13:21 remaining here in the first period, and it's been a hard start for Minnesota. Just 2 shots, but the Stanley Cup champions had 6 so far. One of those found the way to the back net with Ekblad getting his second goal of the season, giving his team that 1-0 lead. Right now the faceoff is going to be deep in the Panthers zone. The right of Bobrovsky, 17-year veteran in the National Hockey League.
Panthers love to shoot the puck. 30.7 shots per game is 4th in the NHL. Panthers one of 5 teams in the league, top 10 in shots per game and shots allowed per game in a good way, meaning they don't give up much. On Monday, they got that 6-5 win in Edmonton. Previous 2 games, they were shut out on 59 total shots. A 4-0 loss in Vancouver, a 3-0 loss in Calgary. So Paul Maurice, their Stanley Cup winning head coach, was really proud that they got the win in Edmonton on Monday, talking about how they stayed with it and dug in to get the 2 points in that hockey game. And that was without Barkov, who was out with illness. Brodin here, offensive zone, left circle for Minnesota, Zuccarello. Then a Kaprizov for a one-timer that was blocked. Brodin rescues it, finds Zuccarello, he's got some room, will fire one in front, that hit a body, and then Bobrovsky, as that nearly went in off Sam Reinhart, but Bobrovsky hangs on.
Yeah, Reinhart trying to help there as much as he possibly can, but it's going to be Bobrovsky making that save also. And the one thing, Joe, watching Minnesota right now, their legs are moving. They're getting some good offense in the in that zone that they're looking for, and at the same time, you've got to be moving your feet if you're going to make some good things happen. Right now, the shots are 6-3 in favor of the visitors.
Bobrovsky, 36 years of age, 2-time Vezina Trophy winner. Of course, the Stanley Cup now on his resume from last year. As we're back to live action, the Wild have some trouble with the puck here for a moment. Boldy now spikes it rink wide. Hartman fakes a big drive and then labeled it in. He paid for that as Mikkola crunched him, and Hartman's stick actually went into the Panthers bench there. Somebody was kind enough to give it back to him as Florida works its way through center ice with Carter Verhaeghe. Off to Kulikov, and as he spins over the blue line, it draws his play offside.
Well, you got to hold up until your teammate gets that puck over that blue line. There's no question about it. And right now, I'm sure you're looking at Paul Maurice behind the bench where he's been around for a long time. He's been a long-time coach. Of course, he was in Winnipeg for a number of years and just left mid-season a couple years ago. He said, I can't teach these guys anymore. I get no response. So he sat out and took over the Florida Panthers after Andrew Burnett was relieved of his duties and brought them a Stanley Cup championship.
Lost in the final, then won the Stanley Cup. Well, back-to-back very long playoff runs into mid and late June for this Panthers group. Here's Nate Schmidt trying to hold in. He can't. Foligno forces the issue further through center. Balinskis then bumped by Jones as Foligno hands it to Goudreau, and an outlet for Ben Jones. A little wrist shot across the blue line left side, sticked away by Bobrovsky. Foligno to the point, but Goshen a shot. Another stop by Bobrovsky. Merrill pitches in. Hoofy Jones on a drive. That's blocked. Tkachuk angles it out to center. And now the Wild able to regroup with both teams changing. 11:35 to go in the first. Merrill from the neutral zone flings it in, but they say it was shy of the red line. This is icing on Minnesota.
And that will bring the face-off back deep in the Minnesota zone. Well, attention to our season ticket members. Once again, we're going to reward you for listening all season long with the Forever Wild Reward points. Enter the code JEDI, that's JEDI, to receive 100 bonus points on your account. That offer will end at midnight tomorrow.
So, draw to the right of Fleury. On Saturday, stopped 20 of 21. Beat the Flyers in career start number 1,003. Mikkola spins one deep into the Wild zone. Grabbing it left wing side is Brendan Gaunce. His clearing attempt was knocked down. Another call-up from the Iowa Wild making his debut over the last couple weeks. This time it's Brendan Gaunce, his 178th career NHL game. His last NHL game was against the Panthers on the road, April 11th of last season, while he was with Columbus. Merrill bumps Evan Rodriguez. And now battling for it is Husnudinov. Merrill supports well, comes the way of Bogosian. He'll find Devin Shore. Shore cuts through the neutral zone, weaves over the blue line. Shore left wing wall, checked there by Boquist, and he'll just play it behind the Panthers' net. And now the visitors work their way through center. Samoskevich, who had an assist on the Ekblad goal. He'll fire it in, but he was shy of the red line, so it's icing on the Panthers.
Yeah, and you mentioned, Joe, about the guys coming up here to Billy Guerin has brought in as the GM here. And you want to have youth on your team that's in the minors, obviously. You want them to develop. But at the same time, you need some experience down there to help the young kids, too. And when you get that opportunity, sometimes you want to bring that experience up to the front end, to the top level, to the NHL. And I think that bodes well for Bill that he's been able to bring some of the players in from the farm team to help out when needed because of the injuries.
Yeah, every time a guy has come up from Iowa, one of the first things that John Hines talks about is experience. I mean, outside of Liam Ogren, who's a prospect, right? Everybody else has got at least 150 or more NHL games, plus plenty of time in the minors on their resume. Offside are the Wild, 10:24 to go in the first. So first couple of minutes, a lot of pace, not a lot of whistles. Things have slowed down a bit here. The Wild trailing the Panthers 1-0.
Yeah, you're right. They were pretty fast here at the beginning. They have slowed down a little bit, and that's usually the case. Once you step on the ice, you know that your adrenaline is jumping a little bit. You want to get on the ice, you want to do something, but all of a sudden they start to slow down when you start to understand what's happening on the ice, and didn't like that face-off.
Mentioned the Panthers, 13 wins when scoring first. They also now have 36 first-period goals. That's top 3 in the NHL in that department. But they do give up a bunch. Kind of surprised to see the Panthers, Tom, near the bottom of the league in team goals against average. They came in 25th in the NHL today, giving up 3.25 goals per game. Bobrovsky's numbers, by his standards, maybe not where he would like them to be. Save percentage of .889. Spencer Knight, a save percentage of .890. They're the two Panthers netminders, with Knight backing up Bobrovsky here this evening. Out of his own zone, Jonas Brodin with a pass that ricocheted around. Rossi will grab it off the right side boards and go back across the grain. Brodin hacks it ahead. Kaprizov steps over the blue line, curled it into the corner. Brodin stays in, pressures here, comes up with the puck, worked it to Rossi, who shoves it along Zuccarello. Tapped up top, a big drive. They score!
Takes that shot. But you can see also at the same time 97 coming in from the right side there. And with that, he just has to redirect that puck just enough. That ties up the game. That will change the complexion of this game, I think, a lot right now. Minnesota getting that goal to tie it up on their 6 shots. Now the shots are 6-6. And it's a 1-1 game. This goal coming at 10 minutes and 20 seconds of the first period.
So the Panthers are going to take a long look at this one. Bobrovsky immediately thought it was illegally played by a high stick.
Florida is challenging the call on the ice to determine if there was goaltender interference prior to the goal.
Oh. So the officials right away made the motion to one another like I saw it, like you saw it, which is it was legally played around the midsection of Kaprizov, but the Panthers were complaining about Bobrovsky was...
Florida's challenging goaltender interference.
Oh, boy. It may be.
I mean, in slow motion, Rossi goes through the crease. Yes, he bumps Bobrovsky, but the puck... I mean, look how far away Rossi is by the time the puck gets to Bobrovsky, though. So, I guess the question will be, did Bobrovsky have a chance to reset after being bumped by Rossi on the flyby?
I think they might pull this one back. I hope not, but they just may do that.
Again, the risk here for Paul Maurice is a delay of game penalty should the challenge be unsuccessful. So we'll wait to see if Rossi bumping Bobrovsky costs the Wild a 1-1 tie here. The Wild players are looking at it on the iPad on the bench.
Kelly Sutherland and also John McIsaac, the two referees in this contest, are at the scorer's table, looking at the iPad with the headsets on.
And Tom, you had said, a goal like that could change the complexion of this game, and I was going to follow up by asking you about the momentum. You so often talk about it. It is real when, Florida comes out, they're flying, they're buzzing, they're getting to their game, and then to be able to tie it up would be a huge boost for Minnesota. We'll see what the officials say here.
Yeah, especially at one point it was 6-1 in favor of the shots for Florida, and they had the only goal of the game, and also now Minnesota's come back with the last 5 shots of this game. And the referees, along with the people in Toronto, will determine what's going to happen here. And usually it's the Toronto contingent that make that decision, so that the referees can say, hey, it wasn't my call. I just gave them what we saw, and you make the decision. And, of course, they have all different angles.
And here we go.
After video review, it was determined that there was goaltender interference. Therefore, there is no goal on the play.
So the 23rd of the year for Kaprizov will have to wait a bit longer. As it's wiped off the board, it remains 1-0 Florida.
It's hard to argue with that one, Joe, just the way things went down there, because he took the goaltender out of the play, no question, and trying to get back in position. The fans don't like it. I don't like it either. But unfortunately, that's the rule, and I don't think Minnesota's arguing the call at all.
Yeah, again, there's no question Rossi bumped him, and he was in the top of the goal crease when he did so. His right skate goes right through the blue paint.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing that I thought might give the Wild a chance is that it's not like the puck went in during contact. He had clearly gone by, but Bobrovsky just was unable to reset. By the way, Bobrovsky's had some trouble with the Wild lately. Pulled twice against Minnesota, once each of the last 2 years, including the game October 22nd in Sunrise when the Wild won 5-1. So last 3 games for Bobrovsky against Minnesota, 0-2-0, 3 games played, and a save percentage of .788. Hopefully the Wild can crack the code of Bobrovsky here in St. Paul. So we're back to live action. Chisholm rattles one around. Boldy grabs it, protects, and then dishes it off for Ryan Hartman. And now a puck through center ice stolen by the Panthers. Bursting in and shooting one was A.J. Greer. His 200th NHL game here tonight. Paul Maurice lauding this line. Nosek, Greer, and Gadjevich for their efforts Monday in Edmonton as Fleury gobbles up one side of his cage, and we've got a timeout on the ice. 8:36 to go in the first. Panthers drew first blood. Kaprizov thought he had tied it midway through the period. But challenged by the Panthers. Goaltender interferes to call, so it remains 1-0 Florida as the Wild are down here on home ice with 8:36 to go in the first. When we come back, you're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care. Like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
From snow and ice to road salt and sludge, Minnesota winters can be tough on your car. Get clean car happy no matter the forecast at Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Tidal Wave's industry-leading car wash gives your vehicle a fast, thorough clean to preserve your car's finish from the elements. Experience clean car shine worth cheering for at Tidal Wave Auto Spa, the state of hockey's car wash destination and proud car wash partner of the Minnesota Wild.
My car is happy. I am happy. Tidal Wave Auto Spa.
Scoreboard update. Final in Detroit as the Red Wings clipped the Flyers 6-4 in Motown. Patrick Kane got the eventual game winner in the third, broke a 4-4 tie. And how about this for some numbers? We deal with big numbers here with Marc-Andre Fleury. Patrick Kane is 4th of the season, but goal number 475 of his NHL career and the 78th career game winner. Holy smokes, Patrick Kane doing some big things there for the Red Wings. Maple Leafs take down the Stars 5-3 in Dallas. That's it for now. Back to Joe and Tom.
Yeah, disappointing for Minnesota. They trailed in this game 1-0. It could have been a call of a good goal, but unfortunately, in a goaltender interference with Rossi hitting Bobrovsky, just enough to knock him off balance. That was determined. So the face-off right now with that last stoppage will be in Minnesota's defensive zone to the right of Marc-Andre Fleury.
Off the face-off, Gaudreau guides it back. Faber loosened it up left side. Foligno sandwiched there by Ekblad and Luostarinen. But the Wild able to reverse around. Faber headmans. Kaprizov chips it in. Bobrovsky out with his goal stick, finding Forsling. And now Reinhart pushing it middle of the ice. Panthers here rushing in. Ekblad joining the play. His right circle shot batted away. Ends up coming off the end wall, where Lundell tried to swat at it. Now the Wild have it with Kaprizov. Away from some pressure before finding Jonas Brodin to snap it in from the neutral zone. Red line, left wing boards. Kaprizov got there first. Got it down low. Freddie Gaudreau, little toe drag move. Side angle shot. Bobrovsky the save. And a whistle. A lot of traffic there with Foligno trying to take up some space in the blue paint tee arc.
Well, it's amazing also, Joe. You watch that puck when it gets there, all of a sudden you got a number of players coming right to that small area to grab that little 3-inch biscuit if they possibly can. And with that was hung on to, and as a result of that, face-off is deep in the Panther zone.
They're showing Aaron Jones, the Vikings running back, on the video board in a suite here tonight.
Was it the last game here? They had the whole defensive line, I think, was here in attendance for this hockey game.
Beer sales must have gone through the roof. Off the draw, Spurgeon a wrister. Bobrovsky traps that carefully and will hang on. So 7:49 to go in the first. It feels like the Wild have absorbed the Panthers' first punch in this game. You see that as well?
Yeah, I think they have. I mean, that early goal always hurts like that, but, you know, they have bounced back with it. They've done it before. This is the team, when you look at Minnesota, when they don't score the first goal, they've gone 6-4-2 in that stretch in those 12 games.
Kachuk hacks one ahead. Icing waved off. Fleury to set it up for Spurgeon, who carries around the Wild net, try to push it past Kachuk. Hartman now slices it to the left wing boards. Boldy and Mikkola come together. Boldy able to tap back. Chisholm reverses for Boldy. Boldy at the hash marks. Nice play for Hartman. Numbers here for the Wild. It's a 2-on-1. Hartman with Johansson, and this play is offside.
I'm watching Johansson on the far side. Why is he trying? He's trying to take off, trying to stretch the leg out a little bit, but my goodness, he's got to cut to the inside and stay on side. That was a good break from Minnesota.
He's got his head down by the Wild bench, knowing that's one you just really can't excuse.
No, you can't. I mean, you've got to let your puck carrier get over that line first, especially if you've got an odd man rush going on.
Not like Hartman was dancing east-west with the puck, Tom. He pretty much tried to go as north as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So a missed opportunity there for Minnesota. As the Panthers rattled in for the neutral zone, Bogosian to his right, let it come free for Zuccarello. Back off to Bogosian, then John Merrill is getting it out to center. Intercepted by the Panthers and lobbed back in by Jesper Boquist, who had his first ever shorthanded goal at the NHL level Monday in their win in Edmonton. Rossi to Bogosian as the Wild break it out. It's Kaprizov finding Rossi. He's got some room. Rossi charging in right circle with a shot kick save. Bobrovsky. Little backhand, forehand snapper by Rossi, and Bobrovsky quick to flash out the right pad.
Yeah, good shot by Rossi. One play also by Kaprizov to get the puck to him, and got good speed coming out of that, going north of the puck.
Again, the Wild attack here with Zuccarello charging in. He spun off a hit, labeled it down low. Panthers, quote-unquote, fourth line out there trying to handle the Wild's top trio of Rossi, Zuccarello, and Kaprizov. Brodin in the neutral zone. D-to-D for Brock Faber. He'll lug it ahead. Faber, a little chip and chase. Brock Faber deep into the Panther zone. Lost a rolling puck. Rear bounced into him. It's skied ahead by the Panthers and out of play, but it hit the glass, I believe. And so, well, we have a penalty call coming. It's a charging call. Might be on Greer for running Faber. Let's see.
Florida penalty number 10, 2 minutes for charging.
Well, number 10 it is. No, A.J. Greer in his first year with Florida, now in his 8th year in the National Hockey League. This is game number 200 in his NHL career, but he will go to the sin bin right now because of this penalty.
So 13:49, the time of the call. Wild power play, just one opportunity each of the last 2 games. Sunday they were 0 for 1. Saturday they were 0 for 1. They're sitting at 20th in the league at 19% on the button. The Panthers come in at 80.9%, 12th best PK. They did give up a goal Monday in Edmonton, but on the road, much like their power play away from home, They are top 10 in the league, road PK efficiency. Kaprizov, right wing corner, fanned on a pass, got it back, labeled it along Boldy. To center point, Spurgeon. Spurgeon takes a look, slides it along to Zuccarello. Bottom of the left circle now, Kaprizov. Quickly back to Zuccarello, right side. Boldy, a shot! What a stop by Bobrovsky. He fought it off with his right arm on that one-timer of a missile.
Boy, what a set of balls. So Boldy, the puck came back to him. Quickly, he released that puck once he got it right to the far side. And Boldy takes a shot, and that's something they practice all the time. That's where a lot of your goals in the NHL are scored now, especially with a man advantage, are on those perimeter circles. You got to be careful where they're standing. And there's a Liney in Montreal has got 7 goals, all in the power play this year.
The Wild did not have a power play opportunity October the 22nd when they beat the Panthers 5-1 in their barn. Centering feed for Rossi was swiped away. The Panthers able to angle it down. Fleury out with his goal stick, leaves it for Jared Spurgeon. So 5.5 minutes to go in the first, 80 seconds left on the Wild's power play. They trail 1-0. Spurgeon drops one back. Boldy has to go into the corner to gather it. He'll cut around the net of Fleury and start the power play ahead. Boldy now a drop pass to Kaprizov. Kaprizov hits the offensive blue line. Muscled it along Rossi. Drills it around the wall. Zuccarello whips it back free. Spurgeon to Kaprizov for a centering pass. Rossi tipped it wide. And the Panthers angled out the center. Spurgeon back to gather. Quick up Kaprizov. Try to flick it along for Zuccarello. Reinhart was in that lane. Penalty call coming. It's on Florida.
Yep, it's going to be a tripping call.
They were just about to gallop ahead on an odd man rush, shorthanded.
Florida penalty number 13, 2 minutes for tripping.
And Tom, as they were about to go on that odd man rush, I was going to note the Panthers have 8 shorthanded goals this year. You got to worry about them.
Well, you're right, and the one guy that can make the difference also has got 4 of those, and of course that is number 13. That's Reinhart, and where's he going right now? He's going to the box. So Minnesota will have a 2-man advantage for 47 seconds.
They're going to use their timeout, Tom. What do you make of this still in the first period?
Well, he wants his best players on the ice. He wants to get that goal back as quickly as possible. And, of course, you're going to have guys like Boldy out there and Kaprizov and, you know, the guys who can put the puck in that or make those plays. So, John Hines calling attention to the fact that we need to make sure they're also well rested.
Zach Halverson here in the Al Shaver press box pointing out the time on ice for the 5 players out there, that top power play unit, all out for 1 minute and 14 seconds, basically the entire first power play to this point. So 47 seconds now of a 5-on-3 for Minnesota, down 1-0 with just under 5 minutes left in the first period. The Wild do have a 5-on-3 power play goal this season. The Panthers have allowed one. Rossi, Zuccarello, Kaprizov, Boldy, and Spurgeon. And now Rossi thrown from the circle. Boldy, the left shot, will come in and take it at the left circle. A tie-up. Panthers win it back, and they knife it down as Barkov won the drawback cleanly. So it's Barkov with Ekblad and Forsling to try and kill it off. Boldy reattacks for the Wild. Power play sets up. Boldy's pass partially stolen. Battling for Kaprizov. He'll dive and keep it in for a moment. And then Ekblad slicing it into the Panthers bench.
Yeah, this is where you got to get good possession in the offensive zone and start moving things around, getting set up here. And Boldy just kind of miscued on one of those plays there, and as a result of that, the puck finally comes out of the zone.
Just lost 20 seconds off that 5-on-3 and haven't even had the puck. Rossi wins this draw. It's sped along by Kaprizov to Zuccarello, and he gets slowed down by Ekblad, and the Wild have to regroup. Kaprizov now tipping one in. That's stolen, and Ekblad gets it back out to the neutral zone. So Kaprizov spins at center. Fed it to Spurgeon. It was rescued by Boldy. He'll drill it in. Zuccarello took a heavy hit, but knocked it free. And now it's nudged along for Boldy right side. Boldy pressured. Got it up top Spurgeon. He'll find Zuccarello. Cross ice. Boldy hacked one in front. Too out to handle for Kaprizov. One of the penalties is already over. It's Kaprizov behind the net to Zuccarello. Back in the cage again, Kaprizov. Once more, Zuccarello outside the left circle. Center point, Spurgeon. Right side, Boldy. Goes back to Spurgeon. Backhand, forehand, pivots. Waits, back to Boldy. Faked the one-timer, hacked it in front, and they score!
For Minnesota. those guys also that needs to step it up as he has done this year. And boy, he's been a force. There was talk about a trade with him, during the summer, and so it never materialized, and he has stepped into the role here and become a leader with this hockey club. This goal coming at 16-11 of period number 1 to tie it up 1 apiece.
But what a momentum shift. It could have been the other way for the Wild. Call timeout, have a 5-on-3, come up empty. And the Panthers would have most likely gotten some serious momentum, but the Wild able to tie it up as Rossi found that loose puck and shoveled it home. And we're back to live action with Freddie Gaudreau attacking for Minnesota. His right circle shot tips and finds the netting. 3:29 to go in the first. It's a 1-1 game in St. Paul. We're back after this. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
You have a job and a paycheck. Sure, that usually works for keeping your finances on track. But there are times when having access to the money you've already worked for can be a game changer. In-between times are the ones that can make a big difference in your life. In comes Daily Pay. With Daily Pay, you can access your earned wages when you want them. Because your hard work happens on the daily, you should be able to reap your rewards on the daily. Find out if your company offers Daily Pay. Visit us at get.dailypay.com.
Hey Wild fans, Minnesota-based and family-owned Old Dutch Foods has been creating taste sensations for generations of hometown Wild fans for over 90 years. Stock up on your favorite Old Dutch game day snacks at your local grocery stores to make game day a win. Old Dutch is a proud supporter of Wild hockey. Let's go Wild!
Old Dutch potato chips. Old Dutch, the snappy chips.
Old Dutch, quality lives here.
Snappy Old Dutch potato chips.
The scrape of blades, the clash of sticks. Hockey's more than a game. It's unrelenting, never give up moments that make you feel alive. And so you commit to the weekly ups and downs, the long road to the playoffs. You wear your heart on your sleeve and your jersey with pride. And when you're there for your team, the NHL shop is there for you. Check out the largest selection of official NHL gear at NHLshop.com. Fanatics experience.
Well, 3:31 remaining here in period number 1. It's a 1-1 game right now. Minnesota able to come back here and score a power play goal. Shots right now have Minnesota in the lead in that department, also 11-7. But that huge goal for Minnesota, that's Rossi's, his 12th of the season, with Kaprizov getting an assist. That's number 26. And Boley, I believe, is number 17 on the other assist. So right now the face-off deep in the Florida zone to the left of Bobrovsky. Won a couple of Vezina Cups as the top goaltender in the league a couple of years with the Columbus Blue Jackets. You notice, Joe, the officials are making sure the guys stay in the right place, positioning also before they drop that puck. They don't let them cheat in there anymore.
Here's Adam Abrams.
On the power play, 12th goal of the season for number 23, Marco Rossi. Assisted by number 97, Kirill Kaprizov, and number 12, Matt Boldy. Time of the power play goal, 16-11.
Panthers attacking here over the blue line with Tkachuk, firing one in front, and Fleury made it. Great skate save. Boy, a backdoor pass by Tkachuk. He had help down there, and Fleury fought it off. Wild counter, Johansson to Hartman, left circle with a shot. He missiled it wide. Brodin to hold in right point. Brodin sweeps it around the end wall. Hartman grabs it, tried to feed it back to the point. Kulikov was there for the Panthers, and now it's Barkov, the reigning Selke Trophy winner. Second time he's earned that honor in his career, which certainly been a very, very productive one. Panthers now working along after they just changed on the fly, and a deflection ends up in the stands as trying to tip that puck in was Eetu Luostarinen.
Well, join us for our toy drive on Friday night as the Wild will take on the Utah Hockey Club. All donations will benefit the Salvation Army. Your first step is securing your game ticket. Get yours today at wild.com/hockey tickets.
Boy, Tom, the TV monitor, the overhead view there showed that Fleury, with his right skate, actually kind of kicked the low part of Barkov's stick right before his stick blade, kind of that low part of the shaft, and that's why Barkov forced that thing wide. Here's Chisholm at the blue line for Minnesota, looking for Foligno in the high slot. Nothing there. Nate Schmidt's got it, and Schmidt will weave it ahead. Schmidt was bought out by the Winnipeg Jets this summer. Panthers gobbled him up in free agents. Chisholm around his end wall, and it's Foligno snapping a pass ahead. Well received by Jones, but then he blew a tire. Blindly caught that thing on his backhand. Samoskevich counters his right circle shot, scores. So off the rush, Mackie Samoskevich, former first rounder, makes it 2-1 Panthers.
Yeah, Merrill wasn't very happy. He slammed his stick down on the ice, and Samoskevich does a nice job of just taking that shot, coming down on the right side also as he takes it. Because it'll be a right-handed shot as well, just testing the top corner here, cuts off the pipe as it gives the Florida Panthers a 1-goal lead, with that time being at 18 minutes and 14 seconds of the first period.
Tom, I'm wondering if Merrill was frustrated because he was the closest player to Samoskevich, and maybe if he reaches out a touch more, he could have tipped that shot away from Fleury.
Yeah, very possible, but, hindsight's 20/20, as we both know, Joe. You think, oh, here's what I should have done.
Number 25, Mackie Samoskevich, assisted by number 5, Aaron Ekblad at 18-14.
6th of the year for Samoskevich. Ekblad's got a 2-point opening period with a big, rugged Panthers defenseman. Their all-time leader in points by a blue liner. So we're down to under 80 seconds left now in the first, and the Wild trail again. This time it's 2-1. It's Kaprizov. Skates past some pressure, weaves it along for Zuccarello. Over the blue line, he'll just flex a little backhander in, and Bobrovsky will pull it underneath him.
Well, that'll keep the face-off deep in the Florida zone. And you look at these two teams also, they have met a total of 34 times. The record against the Florida Panthers in Minnesota is 21-9-4. And here in St. Paul, Minnesota's record in the 16 games they played coming into this one is 11-2-3. So they really had the upper edge with this team. But Florida Panthers are a little bit different team than they used to be. Winning the Stanley Cup this past year, going to the finals the year before that.
The Wild swept the season series last year. They took the opener this year. And last year's matchup against the Panthers in this building was opening night when Gustafsson pitched the shutout. Matthew Tkachuk lobs one in. Back is Brodin. Spun it away from the pressure of Verhaeghe. Kulikov pinched down. The Wild have to regather themselves here. Faber right wing corner, angling it safely out the center. Boldy chipped it along, batting that puck out of midair and finding Johansson. His pass was stolen. The Panthers bank it up ice. This is going to be an icing call in Florida with 30.8 seconds left in the first.
Yeah, and these faceoffs are so important right now for Minnesota, no question about it, especially when you get down to the last minute of a hockey game. You have to have good puck control. So often teams have a little bit let up thinking, oh, well, the end's coming for this period. But in this game today in hockey, you cannot sit still even for the last few seconds. We've seen it 5 seconds remaining. You can still score some goals.
Off the face-off, Chisholm has a lane through the high slot with the wrister, knocked down in front, and then Rossi on his backhand tucked it just wide. Spurgeon keeps into the blue line. He'll fire one to the left circle. Zuccarello jabbed the one-timer wide, didn't get much behind it. Bouncing puck back out in front. Zuccarello swatting at it, and that deflected wide. Kaprizov down to the point. Wild buzzing here. 10 seconds to go in the period. Chisholm a shot. Fought off by Bobrovsky, whose goal stick is way out to his right. 5 to go in the frame. Spurgeon another drive. That hit a body. Deflects wide. And the Panthers content to just salt this one away. And some rough stuff here at the final horn of the opening period.
Yeah, that brings everyone into it. The defense are moving up from the Minnesota side also because they know that it's the end of the period, so nothing bad is going to happen where they have to take the face-off outside. But there will be no face-off, no damage done. I don't think there's any penalties on the play. But Minnesota goes in the locker room down by 1, even though they both shot the opposition 14-8. So Minnesota has had 13 shots to 2 on the other side, where it was 6-1 at one point.
Yeah, and kudos to the Wild for hanging in this one, certainly. And after that final buzzer, the scrum back there, Tom, Tkachuk was grabbing Rossi's the nameplate, the back scruff of his jersey, just giving him that tug. Just Rossi at one point turned around and just rolled his eyes. Oh, it's that guy again. And he is a thorn, certainly in the opponent's side. Matthew Tkachuk, give him credit, knows his role and plays it well. So the Wild down 2-1 after 20 minutes here in Game 4 of 5 of this homestand. As tonight the defending champs are in town. We'll take a timeout. Much more after this. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM has you covered this NFL season.
Two AFC West rivals match up for one of the most pivotal games in the AFC playoff picture this Thursday.
And the Broncos clinched their spot in the playoffs with a massive road win over the Chargers. Complete the season sweep. Make sure you tune into Sports Grid Radio to stay up to date on all the latest.
The place to get the winning edge over the sports books this football season is Sports Grid Radio. Channel 159 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only two players in the history of the National Hockey League to have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes. Wayne and Sid. Just like it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, a hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders. The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Xcel.
The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app. Under review.
Avalanche goaltending sucks. There's no other way around it. They have the worst team save percentage in the National Hockey League. Oh, sure, they can score goals, but they can't prevent them. And this is why I don't take the Avalanche seriously as a Stanley Cup contender, no matter how top-heavy they are with future Hall of Famers. Their goaltending's bad.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, like when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. Do we make that next step? How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Directors and builders.
Down by the Wild locker room, Kevin Fallness with Wild forward Matt Boldy. Another heavyweight matchup. Matt, it feels like that's all you guys have had during this homestand, including tonight against the defending Cup champs. Matt Boldy, how did you characterize the first period there by your squad?
Yeah, it was a good period. I think can clean some things up a little bit, but you're never going to play a perfect period. I think there was a lot of compete, a lot of physicality, hard game. Just got to keep going and get into the net.
Rossi got the game tying goal. His 12th of the year comes on the power play. Great puck movement again. Started with a 5-on-3, finished with a 5-on-4. How'd you see that play develop?
Yeah, I think good plays all around. I think tough getting it set up. They made some good plays to clear pucks on the 5-on-3, and then finally get in there and just get stuff towards the net. I think sometimes when it's not going great volumes, the way to kind of get that answer and to find a way to get one.
Young guys dot this lineup. I still consider you a young guy. Marco Rossi a young guy as well. Tell me how you've seen him continue to progress, not only last year but even as this season has gone along.
Yeah, I think I've always thought the world of Marco. Just how he is as a player. I think he's growing into that all-star, that guy who is the number one center, and there's no question about it. The plays he makes, he plays hard, he's good defensively. He's scoring goals, so him being hot's great for us, and hopefully he can keep it going for a while.
Matt, thanks for doing this. Good luck in the second period and beyond.
Thank you.
There you go, Wild forward Matt Boldy for joining us in the intermission. He'll get a gift certificate down to Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. We'll take a break, and then when we continue, we're going to bring you a conversation with one of the new guys. We were talking about the young guys. Well, this one's a new guy. His name is Travis Dermott. I forgot his name. He's that new. We'll hear from him after a break. Wild trail the Panthers 2-1 after 1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
Wild fans, score up to $2,600 in tax credits when you upgrade your home comfort system by purchasing a qualifying Bryant Evolution heating and cooling system. And with a 10-year replacement warranty from Bryant, you'll have peace of mind for a decade. Contact your local Bryant dealer and ask about tax credits, local rebates, and financing available for qualified buyers. Visit Bryant.com for more details. Bryant, whatever it takes, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild.
At CHS, we know what it takes to feed and fuel the world, to integrate a global ag and energy supply chain, to advocate for farmers in their fields and around the world, to build communities, invest in rural America, and empower rural economies. It takes courage, conviction, commitment. It takes the nation's leading farmer-owned cooperative. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day, we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care. Like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Passing along energy-saving tips to your kids can make a big difference today and for tomorrow. Teach them to turn lights off when they leave the room, or why it's important to adjust a thermostat, even by a degree or two. Let your children be in charge and help them understand the value of energy conservation. Learning these simple yet important behaviors at a young age will help them take these energy-saving habits into adulthood. Visit xcelenergy.com/ways to save for more ways your family can help conserve energy in your home.
Wild are down 2-1 after one period of play. More on this one in a matter of moments. First, I want to bring you part two of my conversation with new Wild defenseman Travis Dermott. Claimed off of waivers last week from the Oilers. Now he's a full-fledged member of your Minnesota Wild. What comes over you? What are your thoughts? What do you know about this team? So on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of nice that we played the night before, and I kind of had a short-term memory of what the team had bringing. And I mean, yeah, you pick up the roster real quick. You look at what the team's coming with, and kind of from A to Z what the coaches are, who the players are, all that type of stuff. And you know, my agent was real great with kind of getting me prepared and making sure everything was set in motion. And you know, I was getting to the rink to pack my gear really quick because we really didn't know when it was going to clear through and when my flight was going to be. So that morning was pretty hectic, packing my stuff up, trying to take care of the two kids and the pregnant wife at the same time.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I didn't realize that part of the story.
Yeah.
That throws a whole nother wrinkle into it. So how young are the two kids?
So my girl is turning 2 on my birthday on the 22nd of this month, and my boy turned 1 on the 6th of this month.
You have 2 and now 1 coming, and they're all 3 under the age of 2.
Yeah.
2, 1, and then your soon-to-be newborn. What's the expected date for the newborn?
I believe mid of March.
Holy smokes, dude!
Yeah.
That's incredible. So that puts a whole new wrinkle on all the chaos that you're going through. Your wife must be just a wonderful human being, because I know that this is not an easy life, first of all. And for a guy like you that's kind of a journeyman, and now to be put in the middle of this, she must be a saint.
Yeah, she's a trooper for sure. My mother-in-law's out there right now kind of helping her getting stuff put together. She was already out there before this all happened, so kind of perfect timing that she has some hands helping her.
Good.
But, yeah, she's definitely got her plate full, and we're trying to get her out here as fast as we can. So
fantastic. Hopefully, and I know everything will work out. It always does. So happy holidays to you and the entire Dermott family. So let's go fast forward now a little bit further. You find out, okay, you're with the Minnesota Wild. Like you said, you got a breather for the Flyers games. You got a chance to kind of take in the action without being thrown right into the fire. But then you get a chance to play against the Vegas Golden Knights. I watched you very closely in that game. It was roughly 8 minutes of ice time, but it felt like you weren't afraid to shoot the puck. You got some pretty good chances there. I think officially they credited with you 2 shots on net. But is that kind of what we would expect from Travis Dermott when he's out there, not afraid to shoot it, and a big body that can play the game the right way?
Yeah, I think early in my career, especially in junior and when I was in the minors, I felt like I was a pretty offensive guy. But When you get up to the NHL, you try to fill any role that they need you to fill. So I really tried to bear down on my defensive game and really figure that out to where, coaches could rely on me. And then when I needed to jump into the offense, I had that in my back pocket available. So I think for myself, I really love Spurge. I've watched him a lot throughout my career, watching clips on him. And I think he's just such a agile player that's so solid defensively. But you throw him in the offensive zone and it looks like he runs the power play left, right, and center and is the offensive guy. So I think I like to style my game kind of after him, just be solid defensively, have a great stick, agile, tough to play against. But then if they need me to jump in the offense, I like to be there and available.
He's a pretty good mentor. When you talk about the captain of the Minnesota Wild and Jared Spurgeon, you look at the top four when everyone's healthy, and right now they're not. I mean, we know that Jonas Brodin is banged up. Jake Middleton, of course, is out with the upper body issue. And then you got Brock Faber, who splashed onto the scene last year. You talk about a defensive core. If there's a strength for this team, outside of Kirill Kaprizov, who's otherworldly, I know you saw some otherworldly players there in Edmonton. The Wild have their own type of otherworldly type guy in Kirill Kaprizov. You talk about the strength of this team. It must be nice to try to blend into a group here, including some of those names I mentioned.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely guys I can learn from in here. And on top of that, it seems like there's some great humans. And I think that's what really makes this team a family. And it's funny, you go from team to team, and some teams have the different energy going. And right here, right away, it was all family.
You're feeling it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I was getting texts left, right, and center from the guys right after I got picked up, saying they're excited to meet me and stuff like that. And if I need any help, they'd be there to help me. So I think, you get that family feel right away, and that makes you feel a lot more comfortable.
Last question, because as a new guy, and not even a week ago, an outsider looking in, we have kind of our myopic view of what Kirill Kaprizov is all about. I mean, he's shattering the records here in Minnesota. He's setting the record book on fire, and we think we've got a pretty special player there in number 97. A week ago, what was your view of Kirill Kaprizov as, a guy right now that's towards the top of the list there in the NHL scoring list?
Definitely happy he's on my team. He's definitely one of the harder guys to try to corner off in the D zone. He's so shifty, so slippery. His cutbacks are like anyone in the league. He's one of the best, if not the best. So I think, I'll definitely be learning from him. I don't know if I could do everything he does, but, I like to do a little 10 and 2 every now and then. So maybe I'll be learning some stuff from him, asking him some questions. But yeah, definitely happy he's on my team, and he showed that last game. Both those goals were just the angles. I couldn't score on 100 shots from there, so seeing him kind of put that home, looks like he didn't even sweat it. So
4 goals. There you go. The new Wild defenseman, Travis Dermott, picked up off of waivers from the Edmonton Oilers, has 1 game under his belt, played against the Vegas Golden Knights, out of the lineup tonight, trying to catch his breath, figure out how he can work his way into this very good lineup, especially back there on the blue line. You want to hear that full interview? You can. Wild.com/podcast. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
The biggest names in the game.
Kudrov, score! The Lightning win it!
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio.
Marco Rossi on the power play gets his 12th of the year from Kaprizov and Boldy. The other two go to the Panthers. Wild down 2-1 after 1 period of play. Marc-Andre Fleury between the pipes stops 6 of 8. 14 first period saves for goalie Bob. Thus far, the Wild 1 for 2 on the power play. The Panthers yet to skate with the man advantage. Period 2 coming your way next. This is Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout.
Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account.
What?
With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save.
So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done?
Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account.
That's a flex.
This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO.
At the Home Depot, we know the world is a messy place. Keeping it clean takes science. That's why businesses everywhere have long trusted cleaning products from Ecolab to take on the toughest messes. And now, that level of clean is available for your home. Introducing Ecolab Scientific Clean, a full line of professional-grade cleaning products for all your home's needs, so you can clean like you mean business. Now available exclusively at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
As the official partner of the Minnesota Wild, Enterprise is ready to go that extra mile. We're dedicated to the most dedicated fans in the game. And with us on your team, you can move forward with confidence, knowing we've got your back. We're always available with mobility solutions, whether you need a rental, replacement, truck, or even tailored business strategies. At Enterprise, your goal is our goal, and we're ready with the assist.
Wild Hockey's on the ice this winter, and we've got a spot saved for you at Xcel Energy Center.
Ripping a shot. He scores! Brock Faber from long range.
And there's nothing more Minnesotan than Wild Hockey and a pair of choppers. Secure both with the Wild Winter Bundle. For every Wild ticket purchase, receive a pair of choppers. Only through this exclusive offer.
Spurgeon a shot. He scores!
Learn more at wild.com/WWB.
The Wild trail the Panthers 2-1 back here for the second period. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. The Wild from left to right on your radio dial in the second. Panthers from right to left. We start period 2, 5-on-5. Tom, now you've digested the first period. What did you think of the Wild's effort?
I thought it was good. I really did, Joe. I mean, you look at the shots on net right now, 15-8, but Minnesota was down 6-1 at one point in that hockey game. But they had a little bit of a slow start, but to give the Panthers a lot of credit, they came out very hard at the beginning of this, got that first goal, what they wanted. Minnesota had a goal disallowed, and, of course, the power play goal that Minnesota was able to capitalize on. But right now it's a one-goal game in favor of the Stanley Cup champions.
Underway in the second as Jones shoots it in from center. Bobrovsky got a piece of it. Kulikov run by Foligno. And Foligno digs the puck free. It's Gaudreau, a high slot wrister, knocked down in front. Not cleared immediately by the Panthers. And now they will get it ahead for Jonah Gadjevich. Eventually it comes the way of Kulikov. He'll carry it in the Wild slot, firing a wrister, blocked to the corner by Spurgeon. Gadjevich picks it up to the left of Fleury. Jonah Gadjevich, the former San Jose Shark, got one of the point. Forsling a long wrister, and at the chest of Fleury, skittered around, and Minnesota clears safely through center. Forsling is back. Bounced it ahead. Spurgeon picks it up. Wheels it the way of Gaudreau. He'll fire it in from the blue line right side. Foligno at the end of his shift tried to come up with it, but Ekblad's there. And now Luostarinen looking for Lundell, the talented two-way center iceman from Finland. Nothing there for the Panthers, and the Wild cruise it back in as Faber chips it in along the right wing wall. Rossi on the forecheck. Caused some havoc. Now Kaprizov dancing with the puck. Angling towards the left wing side. Found Zuccarello. Step past the check of the goal line. Zuccarello looking for Kaprizov. A one-timer blocked. It's loose in the low slot. Digging away. It's Rossi. He'll curl and spin left side. Up top it comes Brodin across the blue line for a wrister. It was knocked down in front. And the Panthers able to just get it out to center, where Reinhart, a little chip and chase. Sam Reinhart barrels in after it. Faber closed on him. Reinhart now twisting one of the slot. Stepping to it is Balinskis. Brodin met him, and so Uvis Balinskis just rolls it around the Wild end wall. Faber offers it to Brodin, and right back to Brock Faber. A 3-game assist streak coming in. The player with the 6th most average time on ice in the NHL. He'll be content to sit back behind the Wild net before lasering one out to center. Boldy reaching for it, couldn't come up with it cleanly. Tkachuk able to find Carter Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe, a Stanley Cup in Tampa with Zach Bogosian in 2020, and then had another cup to his resume last year with the Panthers. Nate Schmidt keeps in for Florida. His long shot blocked to the corner. Right wing side, Hartman paddles it up. Boldy picks it up, carries through center, got leaned on and stripped to the puck by Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk now works his way in. He'll drop it back for Verhaeghe, left circle with a shot, and that grazed off the crossbar. To the point it comes. Mikkola drive, kick saved by Fleury, deflecting it to his left. Boldy's been out there forever, Tom.
Yeah, Joe, just like that first shift of the first period, Florida's going very strong. They've done that here in the second period as well.
Bouncing puck in front of Bobrovsky's net. Now the Russian-born goaltender will jump on top of it with almost 3 minutes played in the second.
Well, this year Minnesota's got to pick up the pace just a little bit more here early. We're still early in the second period here. Shots are 15-10 right now, but it's a 2-1 game in favor of Florida. We'll shop the Hockey Lodge of Fanatics experience this holiday season. Give the gift of Wild cheer from jerseys to hats. The Hockey Lodge has the perfect gift for every Wild fan in your life. Visit us in store or shop online at hockeylodge.com.
Saturday's win over the Flyers. The Wild improved to 6-0 following a regulation loss, scoring 24 goals, giving up just 12. The first 5 wins after a regulation loss came on the road. The game against Philadelphia was here at home, but against 6-0, 24 goals scored, 12 against for Minnesota after a regulation loss the game prior. Brendan Gaunce in the high slot, fanned on a shot. Crowd reacted to that. It was a nice setup for Gaunce. He just whiffed on pulling the trigger.
I'm sure a little nervous energy also playing his first game for Minnesota.
Shore gets it to Spurgeon for a slap shot, trap, and held on to by Bobrovsky.
Just trying to get to the front of the net there with that puck right now. Minnesota doing a good job in that regard. That was Shore coming in from the side there, but unfortunately for him, there's no rebound coming off of Bobrovsky. Good shot coming from or halfway between the blue line and the goal line by Spurgeon once again. Shot right on the target.
Just quickly on Brendan Gaunce, the former Canucks draft pick. Again, his Wild debut. John Hines this morning said he's got good size. He's versatile, can play center, wing, plays a pretty direct hockey game, and said he could even have some penalty kill potential should the Wild need him. Minnesota has yet to be shorthanded in this hockey game, but the penalty kill has been much maligned, and John Hines has been working with the staff sort of tirelessly, it seems, Tom, to try and get it fixed as icing here on Minnesota.
Yeah, the thing is, when you bring in a new player also into a fold, it takes a while to get the adjustments. Even though he's played with other teams and so on, it takes a few games to get under your belt. And he has not had a lot of time, obviously, with practice sessions and learning the drills.
Face off to the right of Fleury. Nosek on it for Florida. Goudreau takes it for Minnesota. Freddie Goudreau fourth on the team in points coming in as Mikkola off the one face off the high riser, shouldered away by Fleury, and the rebound jabbed out the center. Back is Kulikov, who had 900 career games last season. Played 80 games in Minnesota in the 21-22 campaign. Panthers wind it in. Bogosian around to Jones and tipped out through center ice for Foligno. Foligno goes across the ice. Merrill stabs it in. Back is Kulikov. Foligno has him lined up, crunches into him. Kulikov absorbed that hit and freed up for Nico Mikkola, the former St. Louis Blue, in his second year with the Panthers. Mikkola last season, Tom, played 106 games for Florida regular season and playoffs.
Yeah, a lot of those guys over the last couple of years have played 200 or more games in the NHL. That's a lot of skating.
Zuccarello had a stretch pass explode away. He'll chase to it. Ekblad there first for the Panthers. Zuccarello dug it free. Got it to the point. Faber takes a look. Left it off in the right circle. Zuccarello up near the blue line. He'll hand it off. Charging to it, Brodin. On the interchange is now Kaprizov. Rink wide to the left wing board. Zuccarello plays it to Faber. Faber slides it to Kaprizov outside the left circle, faking a shot, then trying to lift it to the slot. That hit the skates of Ekblad. Luostarina, though, at his pocket pick. Kaprizov able to get it down low. Rossi threw one in front. It pinballed off a body and deflected wide. The other way comes Reinhart. He'll swat it in. Faber just chips it right back out the center. Rossi played one back into his own zone. That means the Panthers are still on side. It's Reinhart cutting in front, and Fleury fought off his chance in tight. It's worked to Balinskis for a shot. That was blocked out in front, and the Wild played off the boards to the right of Fleury. Reinhart holds in. Spinning it to Nate Schmidt. His pass got away. Rossi's got a man, Kaprizov, ahead of the pack, but Schmidt able to steal it. And the Panthers rumble right back in. Schmidt off the end wall to Barkov. Bumped there by Brodin. Alexander Barkov to Balinskis trying to cut through the Wild slot. He'll tap off the Minnesota end wall where Faber gallops to it. And he'll connect with Marcus Johansson. Johansson in the neutral zone, speeding past some trouble. And then the poke check of Barkov deflects it back the other way. Schmidt deflects it in. Fleury gloves it down and feeds Spurgeon. Around to Declan Chisholm, who was closed on immediately by Verhaeghe. Tkachuk fresh off the bench. Looking for Barkov in the corner. Matthew Tkachuk has his puck played past his reach, and it ends up in the stands. And we've got a timeout here in St. Paul. Just under 14 minutes to go in the second period. The Wild trail the Panthers 2-1 here at home. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
Tis the season to be jamming. With the channel stuffed full of holiday hip-hop and R&B from the 90s to now. Take your gift wrapping to a whole new level. Jingle Jams. One of dozens of holiday channels available anytime in the SiriusXM app.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on SiriusXM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on demand with the SiriusXM app.
Score!
Join me, Ward Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it, there's a chance, rebound Caulfield, shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Second period, 13:53 to go in period number 2. Shots right now have Minnesota in the lead 16-13, but the Florida Panthers had the lead of 2-1 in the goal scoring department. All the goals were scored back in the first period. Minnesota's a little bit slower start here in the second period compared to the Panthers. Panthers pick up the pace early on as they did before. Face off right now to the left of Marc-Andre Fleury.
Draw to the left of Fleury, as Tom said. It'll feature Rodriguez and Husnudinov. The Wild win it back. Merrill pounds it off the glass left side. Took a crazy carom. Gauntz helped at the center. Husnudinov kept it coming for Devin Shore. Shore finds Gauntz. Rumbling in. Brendan Gauntz threw one in front, hoping for Bogosian. And he was just unable to get to it. John Merrill pinches in. Rolled around the boards. Bogosian still deep in the offensive zone. Flipped it back behind the net where Merrill's still down there. So both Wild defensemen on that brief sequence down hash marks are below in Panthers ice. Florida works it through the neutral zone where Rodriguez bothers Shore. Shore turned it over. Boquist flipped it through the slot. Nothing there for Florida. And John Merrill will carry Minnesota ahead, gain the red line, and steer it in. Back is Aaron Ekblad. Ekblad had a 4-point game against the Wild last season, the second meeting of the year. Johansson carries in, right through the slot, bounces space left side. Johansson then trying to pull the trigger. It tipped away. Johansson stays on it, comes around the net, and his wrists are blocked by Forsland. Boy, Johansson's had an impact on this game, too.
He really has. I thought a couple times.
Fired one in front there, right on cue. And it'll eventually get out to center ice. Marcus Johansson waits above the red line right side, took a pass, knifed it back in. Third time you were starting to say about JoJo.
Yeah, the fact that he came into camp this year in great shape. There's no question about it. He's had some good shots, and even in this game, he's moving his feet. When he's moving his feet, good things are happening. He's had a pretty good season so far for the Wild.
Panthers try to fling one in, hit the curved glass on their bench and back onto the ice. So a halt in play with 12:20 to go in the second.
Well, join us on Friday for an exclusive ticket pack as we celebrate Jared Spurgeon. Secure the Captain Spurgeon Locker Room t-shirt and your ticket to watch the Wild take on the Utah Hockey Club at wild.com/pack. And, of course, Jared Spurgeon, the longest-serving member, minutes played in a Wild uniform in the history of the National Hockey League team. Spurgeon doing a great job as a captain also with his hockey team.
Nearing 900 career games, Tom.
Yep, 15th year, all with Minnesota.
Off the center ice face-off. A bouncing puck is grabbed by Luo Starinen. He'll play it in. Back right on cue is Jared Spurgeon. A feed Declan Chisholm and now Kirill Kaprizov. Muscling one rink wide. Zuccarello hacked at it. Blocked by the long reach of Mikkola, and the Panthers chip it in from center. Reinhart deals it around the boards. Luo Starinen there. Slowed down by Spurgeon. Fleury looks to his right. The two teams try to come up with this puck. It's shifted behind the Wild net. Chisholm hard off the boards, left side, safely through center. Zuccarello left it behind his back. Rossi nearly cut around Lundell. And Anton Lundell able to emerge here. Deep in his own zone. Will bank it off his end wall. Kulikov just steers it out to center. Chisholm knocks it down. Floats it right back in. Kulikov. D-to-D from Mikkola. Nico Mikkola at the red line. Chips it in. Back is Spurgeon to the right of Fleury. The reverse for Marcus Foligno. Foligno cut deeper in his own zone for a moment. Feathered it then to Chisholm. He'll launch it ahead. A touch too far for Gaudreau. At center ice, A.J. Greer winds it in. 11:11 left in the second period and counting. Wild from left to right on your radio dial in the second. Trailing the defending Cup champs 2-1 here at home. Joe O'Donnell and Tom Reed with you. Homestand wraps up Friday with the Utah Hockey Club in town. Gaudreau back of his cage, feathered it to Foligno. Again, he was able to spin away from some pressure. This time finding Chisholm. Chisholm got stripped. Look out to Jailbreak. Nosik's in alone on Fleury to his backhand, and Fleury made the save. Nosik tried to go 5-hole. Fleury had the answer, and the Wild sent it down for icing.
Yeah, Fleury's come up with some big saves in this game, Joe, especially in that first period. But Chisholm just lost the puck, and he should be thanking his lucky stars. That was the goaltender you needed to be in that situation. But just got a little sloppy with the puck right at his own blue line. That allowed a break here, and you can see Fleury trying to stay with it. He does that, follows the puck, good focus on his part. And it could have been a sure goal, wound up being nothing.
Boy, Chisholm, I think, thought he had a home run pass ahead of the pack, and he just kind of lost it, and then it was a clear-cut break for Nosik with late help coming if he wanted it from Fleury. Almost a 2-on-0 there, and Fleury made that save as Nosik tried to go backhand 5-hole. Fleury kicks one out with traffic in front here, and the Wild have the rebound. Gaudreau launches it ahead for Marcus Foligno. 4 fights his last 8 games. Foligno's been playing with a spicy brand to him, Tom.
Well, as he ever shared the season, not too many fisticuffs in his part, but he certainly has made up for it.
The Chuck tries to gallop in. He'll get to a loose puck for the Panthers. Laid it behind the net of Fleury. Barkov twisted it off the side of the net. Jones bangs it away from trouble. Marcus Johansson now using his glove to clear it ahead. And out through center ice it goes where the Panthers regroup. Verhaeghe speeds back in. Left it off Tkachuk. Tried to center it. Deflects up. Kept in by Balinskis just barely at the blue line. They'll weave it behind the net where Tkachuk is bothered by Faber. Brodin stepped to it. He was bumped by Boquist as he started the breakout along, and Brock Faber's got it for Minnesota. His first career goal came against the Panthers last year on opening night. Hartman now off the rimmed-in puck. Banks it along for Boldy. It got away from him. Bogosian held in. Flutters it into the left wing corner. Hartman tip free. Boldy a quick shot. It kicks free. Bogosian a drive. And a right pad save by Bobrovsky. And a loose change sent spinning down the ice by Florida.
Yeah, Bogosian with a heavy shot coming from the point position. For 230 pounds, you can put a lot into it.
Bogosian here clears safely through center. Balinskis plays it back in. Bogosian swatted it down. Gets it to Boldy. The Wild here trying to hustle ahead. A pass, though, a touch too far for Hartman. Mikkola back. Hartman leans on him. Evan Rodriguez now, the former Boston University Terrier, able to muscle it out to center ice. It's turned over. Bogosian trying to tap it free. Falling down was Mikkola, but the Wild unable to take advantage of that. Here is Marat Husnudinov looking for Merrill, and that pass a little out of stride. Merrill can only just bunt it in as the Wild finish a change. Tom, you so often talk about passes on the tape and the importance of execution because of it.
Yeah, really, you're absolutely right, Joe. If those passes aren't on the tape, it's really difficult because you think you've got that extra half a second, whatever you need to make something happen with the puck.
Merrill cycles a puck down low. Digging it free, sure. He'll find Husnudinov back at the point. Merrill a drive. He pushed it just wide. Rodriguez has it. Gapped up by Spurgeon. He'll just fire it in. 8:20 left in the second. Puck rimmed around the boards. Gaunce tips safely through center. Ekblad He's factored into both Panthers goals, lays it onto the tape of Forsling. He stoked one ahead. It's tipped in by Reinhart. Fleury will leave it for Merrill. Cut around his own net. Ran into some trouble. But picking up the puck, Hustadinov. He'll fling it the way of Kaprizov. Kaprizov racing in left circle with a shot. Stick save Bobrovsky. Zuccarello to the carom. Down in the corner, Kaprizov trying to weave it in front. Nothing there. Zuccarello pressures. Hog-tied the Panthers breakout there single-handedly to Zuccarello. And now Florida will try the right wing corner from their vantage point. We're a log jam here for this puck. Dug free by Rossi off the Kaprizov. He got it to the point. Eventually Faber a shot that pinballed around in front. And Reinhart will slide it all the way down. Back to pick it up Brodin. Stretched it along Faber. They'll guide it in. Bobrovsky leaves it. Ekblad behind his own net. Bottled up by Kaprizov. Kaprizov emerging with this puck here out of the right wing corner. Kirill Kaprizov up through the high slot. Fakes the pass and then fired a wrister that tips off the glass. Tkachuk will grab it and sky it ahead for Florida safely through center. Faber back. Touched it the way of Brodin. Brodin's feed tipped off of Rossi. Panthers trying to catch the Wild in a change here as they find Verhaeghe carrying in left circle, threw one in front. Barkov with a chance, and Spurgeon tied him up. It never got through to Fleury. It comes to the point now for Kulikov. Panthers in business here as it's worked to the right side for Nate Schmidt. Schmidt the banking along Barkov. Watched by Hartman. His wrist shot blocked by Hartman. It came right back to Barkov. He got it free. Took a return pass. Tried to angle it loose. Schmidt now with a shot. And that hit something. It deflected wide. Boldy trying to clear out. And it hit the referee. Panthers are back on it. Schmidt to Kulikov. Right circle. Some tired Wild players out here. 6.5 to go in period 2. Panthers leading the Wild 2-1. There's a chance here by Tkachuk, lasered wide. Schmidt holds the line left side and filters it into the corner where Verhaeghe will cycle it back of the net for Tkachuk. Tkachuk on his backhand centered, and they score. Barkov. And it's 3-1 Florida.
Just a matter of time. Minnesota cannot get possession of the puck in their own defensive zone there. You know you're tired, Joe. Only when you don't have possession of the puck. When you have the puck, you're not thinking about being tired, but good play by the Florida Panthers, just getting that puck right on in front, and Barkov is on the doorstep to make it work, and that's Tkachuk making that pass from behind the goal line of Minnesota to the right of Marc-Andre Fleury. So it's a 3-1 lead in favor of the Florida Panthers. That comes on their 15th shot, 3-1.
Boy, Tkachuk back there waiting behind the net, kind of lulled everybody to sleep. Barkov never stopped moving. Hartman tried to dive and get a piece of that pass. He couldn't. And Barkov just kind of knuckled it over the left arm of Fleury to make it 3-1.
Well, Barkov, one of those guys that really is a leader of this hockey club.
But John Hines has seen something.
Minnesota is challenging the call on the ice to determine if there was offside prior to the scoring of the goal.
So Nate Schmidt kept the puck in at the left point that looked onside, at least from the one replay we got. But obviously, the video team, Jonas Plum and TJ Ginger, might have seen something else, a different angle, or maybe it was a different part of that play, because the Panthers had the puck forever, it felt like, in the offensive zone.
Yeah. And now this is where the linesman will step in, and they'll review the footage on the iPad that's down at the scorer's table.
So Barkov is being shown on the TV monitors. He hasn't looked at an iPad yet. He doesn't look overly thrilled. Here is Schmidt again, another look at it, trying to hold the puck in.
Oh boy.
That looked like a good keep, so I'm wondering if it was somewhere else in the sequence. Because again, you got to be sure about this. You run the risk of going shorthanded. I thought for a minute that John Hines was just trying to buy his team some time, maybe talk to the officials about something he saw, trying to stall a bit, and then...
Well, here comes the call.
After video review, it is determined that the play was offside prior to the goal. There's no goal. Please reset
So
the ball.
where is it?
Turnaround's fair play. Each team has challenged successfully to take a goal off the board for the opposition, and great job again by Jonas Plum and TJ Ginger to log that one down. Oh, it was the initial entry, Tom.
Yes, it was, and it definitely is offside.
Yep.
So, one apiece.
So Verhaeghe carried over the blue line left side, but a player middle of the ice had beaten him in. But it happened about a minute before the goal was scored. Luckily, the Wild staff was...
Maybe we wore them out.
In tune with that.
Have to wait and see now.
So it stays 2-1. Each team's had a goal wiped off. And I guess from that standpoint, we're all even now, aren't we?
Yes, we certainly are.
Bogosian flips one around right side. Goudreau cruised it free at the skates of Foligno. Devin Shore grabs it, and he'll connect with Marcus Foligno. Chops it in for Shore to try and chase to it against Mikla. Foligno joins the scrum. Marcus Foligno below the goal line right side. Protects, got it to the point. Bogosian, D to D. Merrill fumbled it for a moment, sliced it down behind the net. Shore there, trying to wrap around out in front. Goudreau was tied up, will push it to the point, just gets past Merrill and out the center.
Boy, Goudreau's coming right in front of the net there, and you can see him reaching there, but unfortunately it's just a little bit short. Needed a longer stick on that play.
Zach Bogosian carries ahead, rams it in for the neutral zone. Shore at the end of his shift, pressures Nosek. And the Panthers able to get it out through center. Back to pick it up is Brock Faber. He'll cut behind the net of Fleury with 6 minutes to go in the second period. The Wild trailing the Panthers 2-1, being outshooting Florida 20-14. Behind his own net, Faber content to sit back there for more than a moment or two. Now we'll fire a pass to Gaunce. Gaunce cuts inside his own blue line, gives it back to Faber. Blue line left wing boards, he'll chip it in. And on the forecheck go the Wild. Picking it up though, Jesper Boquist. Boquist, former Devils draft pick, swept one of the left wing boards, and a backhander from long range by Rodriguez is in the glove of Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, Fleury just grabbed down to that one. They'll give another timeout.
5:23 to go in the second period. The Wild down a goal here to the Panthers at home. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
We are gathered here to... what's with the blanket?
Oh, it's my Securian blanket. It's an unsubtle metaphor for the security I feel knowing I have smart insurance and retirement solutions from Securian Financial.
I see. And, sir, do you also trust Securian Financial with your insurance and retirement solutions?
I do.
Prepare for your future. Talk to your employer, affinity group, or a financial professional to get started. Learn more at Securian.com.
Insurance issued by subsidiary companies. Securian Financial Services. Member FINRA.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day, we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care. Like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Scoreboard update. Two other games in progress, including in Salt Lake City, where the Utah Hockey Club and Canucks are scoreless midway through the second. The other one is in Anaheim, where the Ducks and Jets are knotted at a goal apiece. 9:11 left in that one. A pair of V's on the board. Velarde for the Jets with his 14th. Frank the Tank Vetrano with his 8th of the year for the Ducks. The finals have the Red Wings clipping the Flyers 6-4 in Detroit. Maple Leafs go to Dallas and beat the Stars 5-3. That's it. Back to Joe and Tom.
Well, Tom Reed's hotline is a lot like Jack Frost, nipping at your nose, but it warms your heart. Join us after the second and text us your comments to 64686. That's 64686. Text in, and one random texter will win tickets to see the Wild against the Utah Hockey Club on Friday night, right here at the Xcel Energy Center. Good luck. Warms your heart. Thanks, Kevin.
So with 5:23 left in the second period, we're going to draw to the right of Fleury.
Yeah, it was interesting. You look at that first period also, and I think there were 3 or 4 different players in Minnesota all played at least 9 minutes in that first period. So Minnesota right now trailing by 1. Shots are 20-15 in favor of Minnesota, but the most important thing is Florida has the 1-goal lead, 2-1.
And to your point, Tom, a couple of them were forwards. In fact, 3 of them were forwards in the Rossi, Zuccarello, Kaprizov trio, aided by that 5-on-3 power play, I'm sure. But, boy, it's not often you see forwards play almost half a period. An outlet by Johansson, stolen by Forsling. Gustav Forsling really has found a home here with the defending champs. He had 400 career games this season, but spent some time in the American Hockey League. He was traded twice and eventually claimed off waivers by the Panthers. That's how they acquired what is now one of their best defensemen. And he'll be playing for the Four Nations team. As Hartman clutches at his face. He was cross-checked behind the net right by the referee. No call. Faber carries the Wild at left circle with a shot. He just pushed it wide. Johansson to the carry. Hartman seeing red out here, goes after Tkachuk for a moment as Verhaeghe carries the Panthers in. He'll jam on the brakes, fire to pass, and ricochet around, and they score. It's Tkachuk's side of the net, and now going right after Tkachuk again is Hartman. All heck's broken loose.
Yeah, watching Spurgeon also, he's trying to get a piece of that, and he's not a very big guy, but Boldy's out there.
Fleury's a bit in the mix here, too, because the scrum has now knocked his net off its pegs and come right through the goal crease.
Yeah, he needs to vacate.
And the Wild, I don't think, liked very much that Tkachuk from the seat of his pants, while basically in Fleury's lap, was celebrating that goal.
And that goes back to Tkachuk getting a piece of Hartman behind the Minnesota net to begin with. It went all the way down the ice, and when it came back, Hartman still had, he knew exactly what number to look for.
Well, the difficult or the disappointing part in all this could be, well, actually, looking at the replay, looked like Tkachuk as Hartman clipped him.
We have a good goal on the ice. Minnesota penalty number 38, 2 for roughing. Florida penalty number 19, 2 for roughing.
That's what I was going to say. Hopefully Hartman didn't put the Wild short-handed and had some insult to injury, but it was Tkachuk that kind of whipped around with his right arm and hit Fleury up high, and then celebrated in the lap of the netminder, and that drew Spurgeon and Hartman right over to get number 19 White out of that pile.
Hartman, you could tell when it happened behind the Minnesota net, you could tell he was fixed on that number 19, looking to see where he was. And, of course, the puck gone in the net by the time he hit him. So referees are concurring right now, and I think Tkachuk is questioning the call. These penalties coming at 15 minutes and 28 seconds of the second period.
There's a fan in the Mikhail Granlund jersey, green Wild sweater down by the penalty boxes. He was letting Matthew Tkachuk know he believes he's number 1.
Yeah.
So, the Panthers now do have a 3-1 lead, and we'll have some 4-on-4 hockey. And a big 4.5 minutes left in the second period, Tom, for the Wild to try and inch closer.
Yeah, they've got to get some shots, and then they've got to move the feet a little bit more, get a little more speed up here at the front end.
Scoring for Florida's goal this season for number 19, Matthew Tkachuk, assisted by number 16, Alexander Barkov, and number 23, Carter Verhaeghe. Time of the goal, 15:28. Tkachuk.
17 points the last 17 points the last 11 games now for Tkachuk. He scored in back-to-back as Ekblad fires a long shot. That hit the iron to the left of Fleury. Panthers have 3 4-on-4 goals this year. The Wild have 1 as Fleury fights one off with his glove. Rebound fought off by Fleury as well. Lundell then on a wraparound try. And Fleury able to hang on. Boy, the Wild running around here a bit.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they have to run around because of the fact that the Florida Panthers are really moving their feet, making some good things happen offensively.
Chance for the Wild to settle down a bit. TV timeout, so a break in the action from St. Paul. 3:59 to go in the second. When we come back, the Wild trail the Panthers 3-1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day, we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care. Like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Traveling with the Minnesota Wild has never been easier. Introducing Wild Travel, a book seats experience, the official fan travel platform of your Minnesota Wild. It's your one-stop shop to bundle game tickets with flights and hotels, saving you up to 30%. With Wild Travel, you can customize your official Minnesota Wild package for any game and never worry about hidden fees. Plan your next trip today at bookseats.com. Wild Travel, a book seats experience.
When cleaning a jewel, it's important to rub and wash the jewel repeatedly. Perhaps that's why every team in the league has taken to giving hard-working Wild forward Jewel Eriksson Ek a face wash. A small price to pay to add a little polish to your game. Jewel Eriksson Ek. Not weird. Wild.
Whether it's a division collision with the Blackhawks or a battle with the Flames, the Wild look forward to you bringing the noise to Xcel Energy Center. Buy your tickets today at wild.com/hockey tickets.
Second period certainly has gone to the Florida Panthers. 3:59 to go here in period number 2. Shots now, they've closed the gap on that as well. It's 20-18, but more importantly, the Panthers, with that last goal by Tkachuk, have made it a 3-1 lead for the Stanley Cup champions.
So draw to the right of Fleury, Barkov and Rossi on it. Barkov guides it back. Mikkola flips it along, takes a return pass. He's traced by Rossi deep in the wild zone. Nico Mikkola around the net of Fleury, turns to his forehand, played it around the cage where Verhaeghe sent it blindly out in front. Kaprizov gobbles that up, twists his way ahead. Kaprizov cut past a check, nearly lost it, and then just pushed one along, hoping for Faber. Nothing there. Kulikov stumbled for a moment, swings back by the Wild bench with a minute left of 4-on-4 hockey. Verhaeghe dances ahead. Carter Verhaeghe over the blue line. Met by his counterpart in number 23 for Minnesota, Marco Rossi. So Verhaeghe got it to Lundell. Turned to the point for Ekblad. Back off to Lundell. Anton Lundell feeds Forsling. Stopped at the blue line. Found a man cutting fresh off the bench in Reinhart. He had some trouble with that puck. Does get back on it before refeeding Lundell, who speeds it to the point for Forsling. Forsling shifts it along. Lundell just chips it down low to the right of Fleury. Brodin took Reinhart off the play, but Lundell to the puck, and now quickly to Ekblad, who elbowed Kaprizov up in the face. Play continues. Forsling to the right circle. Waiting with it was Reinhart. He'll get it free to Forsling. Now to Ekblad, left circle. Cross-checked a bit by Kaprizov. Able to fight through it. Fired a shot, the tip. Fleury fought it off. The rebound ends up in the netting.
Boy, almost had to throw another puck out there so Minnesota can have a puck too, but the Panthers doing a good job of just controlling the puck and very patient with the puck also when they do get it. They're not rattled at all. They're moving their feet and as a result getting some of the players into openings where you can make those passes back and forth. Fleury come up with yet another save, and right now the spread, which was big at one time, is just one shot difference with Minnesota in the lead, 20-19. But more importantly, Minnesota trails by 2, 3-1 score.
Draw to the right of Fleury. The Wild win this one. Spurgeon off the glass, got it out the center, hoping for it Johansson. Instead, it's Balinskis. Playing it back to Nate Schmidt. Five-a-side hockey now after the coincidental penalties expired. Boldy tries to lug it ahead, leaned on. His pass was blocked, came free. Johansson a shot, and that knocked the mask off of Bobrovsky, and an immediate halt to play.
Well, goaltenders have a way of also shaking the head a little bit where sometimes you can lose the mask when you want to. But Bobrovsky does a nice job of just making sure it's off and making sure the referee knows it's off his head.
Now, Tom, in your day,
we didn't have helmets.
Exactly.
So it didn't matter.
Come on, Sergei.
So he's getting it put back in place right now. He's the winningest Russian goaltender, surpassing Nabokov. Remember back in February of 2023.
Mentioned the Four Nations tournament earlier. The Panthers led the NHL with 8 selections to those 4 teams, plus 5 staff members. They'll be busy in February.
Boy, will they ever.
Panthers will be well represented in Boston and Montreal at the Four Nations face-off. John Merrill finds Marcus Johansson on a neutral zone regroup. He'll hand it back to Bogosian, who hits the red line, loads, and cranks one in. Skips around the boards, careened out in front. Kulikov picks it up for the Panthers, just got it out the center, where A.J. Greer winds it in. Fleury with his goal stick, swats it along. Boldy and Greer came together, and a penalty on Boldy.
He's having a little bit of a tough time lately, Joe.
Minnesota penalty number 12, 2 minutes for slashing.
Well, Greer jumped that swat attempt by Fleury, meaning he was going to pinch down to pressure Boldy. And Boldy, rather than, try to angle him off or get to the puck, Tom, he just simply chopped on Greer's stick and it exploded into 2.
He's had numerous stick infractions in the last few games that he has played. Tripping, hooking, slashing now. And that means so often that you're not really moving. As you pointed out a few moments ago, too, he's not moving his feet like he used to.
Here's Tkachuk out of the right wing corner. Panthers power play, 6th in the league at 26%. Tall task for the 30th ranked PK in Minnesota. They're going to try to pressure more, change some things up system-wise, just a touch, but they want to be more aggressive. We'll see if they're able to do that against the Panthers power plays. Ekblad a shot, Fleury the save, a lot of traffic in front. Minute 13 to go in the period. Wild down a pair. Panthers here, Ekblad a drive, stopped by Fleury, rebound in the blue paint, and they score. It's Tkachuk, his second of the frame. It's a power play goal, and it's 4-1.
Tkachuk coming off the side also is able to capture that puck and put it away. This really slows things down right now. 4-1 in favor of Florida. This goal coming just a minute and 6 seconds remaining in period number 2, and this has been a tough period for Minnesota. 18:54 will be the official time of this one.
So 66 seconds left in the period.
Tkachuk with his second goal in a row and getting the last 2 goals for the Florida Panthers. And you watch Florida, when they come up against a body, they don't just drive a guy, they just make sure they take him out of the plays. They're always playing their man.
Kaprizov chops one in from center ice. Final minute of the second. That's a late dagger by the visitors. Jesper Boquist ahead for Anton Lundell, who punches it in. Fleury comes out, the jarred along. Zuccarello with a tip pass. Stolen by Luostarinen. Back of the cage now, Zuccarello. Flicks it to Kaprizov. Kirill Kaprizov hands it back to Zuccarello. He'll dart to his left, feeding it along, looking for Rossi, but pressured immediately by Mikkola. And the Wild have to chase again. 30 seconds left in period 2. Chisholm lofts it around. Kaprizov hacks it out to center ice.
The game, number 19, Matthew Tkachuk, assisted by number 23, Carter Verhaeghe, and number 5, Aaron
Here's
Ekblad.
Kaprizov in onside, centering Rossi, a shot block. Kaprizov swatted at it, comes to the point, Chisholm. They'll rotate it to the left wing board, Zuccarello outside the circle. Flexed it along for Spurgeon, 8 to go in the period. One-timer by Kaprizov, caught by Bobrovsky.
Yeah, that last goal by Tkachuk, also Verhaeghe and Ekblad getting the assist on that one. Ekblad now with a goal and 2 assists in this hockey game. And the face-off is going to be deep in the Florida zone right now, but 3-goal deficit for Minnesota right now trying to come back. And the shots now have been taken by the Florida Panther lead in this one, 22-21.
The Wild penalty kill was 0 for 1 on Sunday. So 1 try, 1 goal allowed. 0 for 1 again here tonight. And on home ice now, the Wild PK has given up 14 goals. Off the draw, Chisholm a shot. That goes wide. This is the 15th home game of the year for Minnesota. Again, 14 power play goals against. And horn sounds taking us to the end of the second period.
Yeah.
So some major adversity here for Minnesota, Tom.
Yeah, a little bit of a skirmish out here.
Clearly frustrated players in the green sweaters. So we're through 40 minutes. The Wild trailing the Panthers 4-1 after Florida gets a couple of second period goals from Matthew Tkachuk, one at 15:28 and the other at 18:54.
Well, we'll see what happens in the third period. Minnesota's got to find a way to get some mojo going here. They've got a bunch of games coming up here. They've got 2 this weekend. So they better step it up and see if they can get some points back on the board.
So the Wild down by 3 after 40 minutes here from St. Paul. Take a break. Tom Reed's Hotline after this. You're listening to Wild Hockey presented by Xcel Energy.
Every fantasy football player has a date with destiny, and this week is yours. The fantasy football playoffs are here. Listen to SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio and dominate your competition with expert analysis from a fantasy perspective to help you set a winning lineup.
And he spins his way into the end zone.
Go home a champion, or just go home.
At this point of the year, I want to be invested in teams that are playing for something.
The Fantasy Football Championship, Channel 87, and on the SiriusXM app.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid score!
Two to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders,
The revenues and the big business.
and the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on demand with the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only two players in the history of the National Hockey League that have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes. Wayne and Sid. Just like it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Under review.
Avalanche goaltending sucks. There's no other way around it. They have the worst team save percentage in the National Hockey League. Oh, sure, they can score goals, but they can't prevent them. This is why I don't take the Avalanche seriously as a Stanley Cup contender, no matter how top-heavy they are with future Hall of Famers. Their goaltending's bad.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favorite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
It's time for Tom Reed's Hotline.
Hello?
Text in your comments or questions to 64686. You can win fabulous prizes, including dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub or wild tickets to a future game.
Phone's ringing, dude.
Thank you, Donnie. And now, Tom Reed's Hotline.
Well, Matthew Tkachuk with a pair of goals in the middle frame has turned this into a 4-1 advantage for the Florida Panthers after 2 periods of play. Welcome to Tom Reed's Hotline. Get those questions in, 64686. Add your name and location. That would be a bonus for everyone listening. We'll start with this one from Tom Reed. I don't know, Tom. It felt like the Wild took that first punch from Florida early on, responded, especially when Marco Rossi tied the game at 1. But it feels like it's been all Florida since. Well, I agree with you, Kevin. It certainly has been. It's been Minnesota kind of a downer right now. They don't seem to be moving their feet like we've seen before. The passes aren't crisp or not fast or not always accurate. And the Florida Panthers, there's a reason why they have retained the Stanley Cup at this point after winning it last year. And as I said before, this is a team that really, if they can stay healthy, would be great. But Minnesota's a number of key players also. When you look at Minnesota not having the likes of Jake Middleton back there, Ecker, Joel Eriksson Ek not there. You got Lacko out of the lineup as well. Now you got Trenton out of the lineup. You have Philip Gustafsson out of the lineup. So there are injuries that certainly are part of the reason why Minnesota is where they are right now. They have not played very well as of late. If you look at their last few games they played, they're just not getting the goals. They're not getting the push that we saw earlier in the season.
Granted, the Wild beat the Florida Panthers in Florida, and that was one of their best games of the season. But overall, when they've gone up against some of the big boys, especially in the Western Conference, they've struggled. The Kings, we know what they did against the Oilers last week, the Stars, the Jets. How do they turn the court? Because if they want to have success and a prolonged run in the playoffs, they have to match up better against those big dogs in the Western Conference.
Well, we said before, Kevin, if you want to be a winner, you got to beat the big guys too. You can't just take on the little guys. But Minnesota's had some big games against some of the bigger teams, but you've got to do it on a consistent basis right now. And you got to look at the different divisions you're playing in. And of course, when you look at Minnesota, the injuries certainly have taken their toll. There's no question about that. But it's a long season. 82-game schedule. We have a lot of games to go, so hopefully they can turn it around pretty quick.
We'll see what happens. One guy that did get on the scoreboard today twice, one of them counted, Marco Rossi. I guess he didn't get credit for the first one. He was the guy that was accused of rubbing into goalie Bob. We can get into that here in a second, but Jerry in Stillwater wants to talk about the possibility of trading Marco Rossi. He's heard that out there on the rumor mill, and he doesn't like it. He wants Rossi in a wild sweater for the long haul. What do you think, Tom?
Well, I like Rossi. I really do. I think he really has stepped up. If you look at his 10 games now, the last 10 games, including this, he's picked up another goal tonight, so he's got 6 goals and 3 assists in those 10 games. So he's doing his part, and he's playing with a lot of confidence right now. It's been a tough road for him after going through the COVID series that he had to sit out for a complete year. But you always look at your team. Anyone can be traded. Wayne Gretzky got traded. I mean, there's no doubt. Even Bobby Orr got traded. You remember he signed him with
Matthew Tkachuk got moved.
Yeah. I mean, it's
pretty darn good player.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? So it can happen. You just want to make sure whatever you get back, you get something that's going to be worthwhile for your hockey club.
From Brian, Tom, this team makes him question the start of the season, and if it was all boiled down to good fortune. He says it's starting to look a little bit too much like last year's team. What do you say to Brian?
Well, I think it was good fortune at the beginning, but you know what? They made their own fortune because they played hard. They did the things they had to do, but they kind of backed off here a little bit as of late, and right now Minnesota's, in the kind of a situation where we're down by 3 goals coming in the third period against a very good hockey club. But I would have to agree that Minnesota got some pretty good breaks early on. But I think the penalties, or not the penalties, although they've taken their toll, but certainly the injuries have taken their toll in this hockey club.
From TPK2K guy, the Wild 3 for 3 on challenges now this season, including a big one tonight. Who gets credit for the video challenges, when to call it, when not to?
Well, it takes for the guys, and Joe was talking about before, the guys down there who are looking at the tape, and they have to go back far enough. Whenever a goal is scored, they reverse everything and go way back, and that's when they catch it. They don't have a lot of time, so you got 2 guys down there making sure that they get it right. But it's the coach who has to make that final decision based on what he sees also, and they can show it to him on the monitors that are on the floor there, so he can make that decision based on that.
Let's go to this one from Jason in Pine River. Tom, if the Wild are unable to pull out a win and they lose back-to-back for the first time this season, could it be as simple as getting Philip Gustafson healthy and back between the pipes? Because he's been very good for this team most of the season.
No, it's not that simple. It sounds good, but it's not that simple. You got to get the guys in front of the goaltender also to pick up their pace and get some offense going. That has not been the case here in Minnesota yet in this game. I mean, they had a pretty good first period. They were moving their feet and things were happening, but I think that Florida really took over, especially in that second period.
From Brian, Tom, do you think the Avalanche will eventually be the Wild's biggest threat in the Central Division, or will it be Winnipeg right down to the end?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Winnipeg. I mean, they have really set up. The other one is Dallas. I mean, that's the other team that I said at the beginning of the year I thought would be one of the contenders, contenders going for the Stanley Cup. So they're another team that's right there. I'm not too worried about St. Louis or Chicago, Nashville. I mean, those teams are even I'm trying to think. Oh, Salt Lake City. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Utah. The other
Utah
moved to our
Club.
division. Yes.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Yep. Let's squeeze this one in from Richard from Shoreview. He's in Mesa, Arizona. Tom, why do you think the teams from the South are winning the Stanley Cup and teams from the North and Canada can't?
Well, they want to stay in the South. They like it down there.
I guess.
We'll see what happens, but you're right. And I go back, and I've said this many times before, that back in the late 60s when I broke in, we couldn't understand how teams in Florida, in California, being in Oakland at that time and being in L.A., how teams in the South could ever have hockey. But, boy, they've proven me wrong, that's for sure.
All right, Thomas, what do you want to see here in this third period? Down 4-1 to a very good hockey team. What do the Wild need to do to get things back in the right direction, open that third period?
They got to move their legs. They got to have an effort here coming in the third period.
All right, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Tom Reed from the Al Shaver Press Box with Tom Reed's Hotline. One of you texters is going to receive a pair of tickets to see the Wild take on the Utah Hockey Club Friday in St. Paul. Did you know the Wild are home for the holidays this season? Friday against Utah, Monday against Chicago, then Ottawa and Dallas after Christmas. You can get tickets today at wild.com/hockey tickets. We'll break and then we'll recap the first 40 minutes. Wild trail the Panthers 4-1 after 2 periods in St. Paul. This is Wild Hockey presented by Xcel Energy.
Carrie's country. You're just living in it.
You can tell Carrie's in her element. These are her people. This is what she loves to do.
Carrie Underwood's own channel, featuring live performances, brand new music, and never-before-heard stories from the idol-turned-country icon.
You want to hear a variety. You don't want to hear the same songs. You want new things for your ear to gravitate toward.
Travel to Carrie's country anytime. Sirius XM Channel 60.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app.
Score!
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now, with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Center point Spurgeon, right side Boldy, goes back to Spurgeon, backhand, forehand, pivots, waits back to Boldy, fake the one-timer, hacked it in front, and he scores! Marco Rossi found the bouncing puck, backhanded it home. It's a power play goal, and the Wild have tied this game up.
Marco Rossi gets it. His 12th of the year comes on the power play. 3 goals in the last 5 games for Rossi, 7 in the last 13 since about Thanksgiving. Ties the game at 1 apiece. That's good. Not good. The next 3 go to the Canucks, including a pair for Matthew Tkachuk.
Ekblad a shot, Fleury the save, a lot of traffic in front. Minute 13 to go in the period. Wild down a pair. Panthers here. Ekblad a drive. Stopped by Fleury. Rebound in the blue paint. And they score. It's Tkachuk, his second of the frame. It's a power play goal. And it's 4-1.
His 12th and 13th of the season extends the Panthers' lead to 4-1. That's where we sit after 2 periods of play. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
Everything is better on ice. Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Fleury stops 13 in the second, 2-period total of 19. Thus far, the Wild are 1 for 2 on the power play. The Panthers are 1 for 1. Panthers 4, Wild 1. The third is next from St. Paul. This is Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
As a business leader, every day brings countless decisions. Some big, some small, some easy, and some you need to sleep on. Work with a banker who gets you, gets your business, and can help you make the right decisions to meet your goals. So you're not just navigating between choices, you're planning your success. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
Hey, Wild fans, fall weather is knocking on our doors, and you know what that means. Chilly days are just around the corner. That's why it's good to know the knowledgeable, friendly dealers at Bryant Heating and Cooling who will do whatever it takes to keep your furnace running efficiently no matter what the weather throws at you. Plus, score up to $2,600 in tax credits on qualifying Bryant systems. And ask about rebates and financing for qualified buyers. Find your local dealer at Bryant.com. Bryant, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with the new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day, we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care. Like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, save my spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Happy holidays from the Jenny O Turkey team. At Jenny O Turkey, they believe the holidays are a time for gratitude and giving back. They've donated over 2,000 turkeys in partnership with the Minnesota Wild the week before Thanksgiving and gave over 20,000 turkeys to those in need this holiday season. It's their goal to ensure as many tables as possible are adorned with a delicious Jenny O Turkey. We hope this helps to inspire you to embrace the spirit of giving this holiday season. Jenny O Turkey, making it easy to eat well.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout.
Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account.
What?
With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save.
So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done?
Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account.
That's a flex.
This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO.
The Wild down by 3 as we start the third period. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. The Panthers in front of the hometown Minnesota Wild 4-1 after Florida got 2 Matthew Tkachuk goals in the second period. So we'll see how the Wild respond. They skate from right to left on your radio dial in the third. Panthers from left to right.
Well, Minnesota needs a good start, Joe. They have not really performed up to their standards that they've had. Talk about the injuries and so on, but it's true. But at the same time, the guys on the ice have got to pick up the pace.
Shore moves up to play with Gaudreau and Foligno. Ben Jones had started the hockey game there with the 2 more veteran players in Gaudreau and Foligno. Guys were underway in the third. A bouncing puck in on Florio, handed along for Declan Chisholm. Stops below his own goal line, carved it off the wall. Foligno bottled up. Gaudreau chops it in. Bobrovsky out to swing it along. A.J. Greer tipped it free. Panthers through center ice. They're unable to gather it cleanly. Chisholm deals back in his own zone. Plucked it off his end wall. Spurgeon goes right back to Declan Chisholm, former 5th-round pick of Winnipeg. Chisholm sits back behind his own cage. And now escapes out right side, winding it out through the neutral zone then. Zuccarello able to emerge. Tipped it free for Rossi, handed back to Jonas Brodin. He'll play it onto the tape of Kaprizov. Kaprizov charging in left side. Slid one down low. Forsling lost it for a moment. Rossi twisted it around the wall. Ekblad is there, and he'll put it on the tape of Anton Lundell. Lundell found Sam Reinhart. What a year last year for Reinhart. 57 goals, second only Austin Matthews. Wild attack here with Marco Rossi. Dropped it back, Faber a shot. Didn't get much on it. Kaprizov out of the right wing corner, helps it back to Faber. On the pop-out play, he'll find Rossi. Rossi rolls it the way of Jonas Brodin. Knocked it around the end boards. Kaprizov trickled it between his legs. Zuccarello was bottled up, though. And it's moved along by Luos Storinen, who finds Reinhart. He'll charge in, trying to get around Rossi. Reinhart then a wraparound bid, and Fleury held his ground. Johansson for Minnesota. Lost this puck. Barkov had it stashed free by Zuccarello's long reach, and he'll get it out to center.
Yeah, Minnesota needs an early goal here also, Joe. Just get some life back on that ice, but also in the building as well. It's pretty quiet.
Brock Faber at his own blue line. Headman hoping for Zuccarello. And instead now it is the Panthers to carry in. Tkachuk had it swept away by Boldy. Kept in, though, by Nate Schmidt. Plays it behind the Wild net. Faber ties up Barkov. Boldy tips it free. 2-on-2 with Hartman charging up for Minnesota. Try to hand it off to Johansson. And then maybe even step past Nate Schmidt. Nothing there for Minnesota. Wild flip it back in from the neutral zone. Tkachuk to roll it off his end wall. Kulikov churns it back as the Panthers look to change on the fly. 2:30 gone by in the third. Nate Schmidt back behind his own cage. His pass sends. Oh, a heavy hit there. And my goodness, they'll blow the whistle as Jesper Boqvist got hit into that spot where the curved glass kind of at the end of the bench there, the turnbuckle, if you will, and he is in a world of hurt. A dangerous collision, and Boqvist hasn't moved much. He is on his knees, but he is needing some assistance.
Yeah, the helmet flew off also when he went into that boards. He took a heavy hit, still down on the ice on his knees. It appears that he looks okay.
Maybe more, I don't want to say scared than anything, but that's got to be a situation in a player you just try to avoid at all costs. It was Hustadinov that leaned on him, and boy, the helmet came exploding off because that was the part that caught the curved glass.
Yeah, and it wasn't a bad check in my mind. But the problem was his head was leaning over the boards where the players come onto the ice, and then he hit that curved glass. It appears to be okay. No penalty on the play.
I think his head is screwed on tighter than his helmet, Tom Reed, because that could have been awfully dangerous. And they are going to send Boqvist back to the dressing room. My guess is the spotters would probably say, hey, he needs to be looked at.
Yeah, there's one individual every time that's at the game to watch for stuff like that, and he'll make a call down if he thinks there's a hit that might result in a concussion, some type of head injury.
So play resumes. Greer trying to get one out of his zone, couldn't. Ben Jones knocks it free. Hustadinov out of the right wing corner. Check there by Mikkola. Hustadinov continues the battle against Nosek. Hustadinov emerging, forced it to Gaunce. He tried to fire it in front. That was knocked away by Kulikov. Dmitry Kulikov headmans, where it's dumped in by Gadjevich. Out with his goal stick flurry. Sent it to the left wing side. Ends up down near the Wild goal line again. Bogosian, a healthy hit on Gadjevich. Who got back to his skates, tried to center. Merrill blocked that. Boy, the spiciness picking up a lot.
A little ugly out here right now.
Point shot by Forsling, kicked out by Fleury. The home run feed went errant, but Rossi there ahead of the pack to negate icing. Where Ekblad now steers it to center. Brodin absorbed the check. Got it to Rossi. He couldn't get it deep into the Panther zone. Brodin another try at the red line. Spins towards his forehand and then just left it off where Zuccarello hooks it back for Brock Faber. Zuccarello played one season under the tutelage of Paul Maurice earlier in his career. Maurice was talking about Zuccarello at morning skate as a shot by Brodin's in the glove of Bobrovsky, and sort of talking about that dynamic between Kaprizov and Zuccarello and how they're both very special players offensively, and Wild fans certainly know that.
Yeah, certainly. You never know how guys are going to gel together either. When Kaprizov first came here, you wondered how's he going to do with Zuki. Well, obviously those two guys have a great relationship both on and off the ice. And as a result of that, their numbers certainly show that they respect each other and can work off of each other and get those points.
Darren Pang between the benches working the broadcast nationally for TNT. That hit by Hustadinov, that feels like that would have been a Darren Pang signature holy jumping when the helmet came off. Very few personalities more colorful in the game than Darren Pang. Been at it forever as a broadcaster. Matthew Tkachuk for the Panthers with a shot right side. That lasered wide. Mikkola to hold it. His pass hit the skates of Zuccarello. Panthers look to center. It's blocked. Faber hacked it up, not out. Now left circle Verhaeghe. Boy, a stick-swinging match between Mikkola and Zuccarello well away from the play. Was allowed to just continue to go on as Fleury has this puck in his glove.
Yeah, grab down to that one. They'll keep the face-off deep in the Minnesota zone with 15:09 to go here in the third period. Just not a life on that Minnesota bench at all right now.
Well, they're 15 minutes from suffering back-to-back regulation losses for the first time. This is game 32. Their last team in the NHL without that distinction. One of the longest stretches over the last 4 years in the National Hockey League. To start a season without back-to-back regulation defeats. In fact, coming in, this was the fourth longest over the last 4 years. 3 full seasons and this one. Here's a centering feed by the Panthers at the flex wide. Merrill left wing corner pops it out to center where Shore was bottled up immediately. You know, after the game the other night, Tom, John Hines talked about that there just wasn't a lot of free ice against the Vegas Golden Knights, and we weren't surprised by that, knew that coming in. More of the same here against the defending champs.
Yeah, and you know, this is a good skating club, and they're well coached. There's no question about it. Bill Zito's done a nice job of putting a good group of individuals together.
Shot here by Boldy, stopped by Bobrovsky. Off a nice setup from Foligno, and the puck now deflects into the stands out near center ice. 14-11 to go in regulation. The Wild still trailing 4-1.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, Joe, when you're looking at putting a team together, what are you looking for your line combinations and your defense pairings? You don't want them to be a cookie cutter and be all the same type of players. You want to have a little bit of, you know, offensive going, especially in the top 2 lines. You need that toughness, that physical part of it. That could be the 3rd or 4th line, and you need those checking guys. That could be the 3rd or 4th line. But everybody has a role to play, and when you start putting the same type of a line together and defense pairing together, it doesn't give you much room for improvement.
And I know you're a big proponent in valuing, you know, the size of a hockey team and how much that can affect the opponent, whether it's a game like tonight or over the course of a long playoff series. Is Minnesota guilty of icing? Why have you always sort of believed that the more size you have at times can be a really beneficial thing for your group?
Well, it can be, especially when you get into playoff competition. All of a sudden, you're doing a lot of traveling. You're playing every other day. You're playing in situations that you want to win the Stanley Cup. You're going for it. So, if you have that size, then all of a sudden you can withstand a lot of the heavy hitting and skating on the opposite side.
Just under 14 minutes to go now in the third. Off the glass, the Wild fling it up. Ekblad held in for a minute. Now Boldy carries through the neutral zone for the Wild. Hit the blue line. Try to feed one across. Boudreau able to help it loose for Spurgeon, who played in the corner. Boldy in a foot race there. Battles against Sam Reinhart. Puck loosened up by the Panthers. Left side. They'll chisel it through the neutral ice area. Panthers at center now, getting to it. Ekblad feathered it off. Lundell a drive. Kick save Fleury. Chisholm swats the rebound. Up, not out. Forsling a bit. Blocked. Boldy carries the Wild ahead. Will tap off to Johansson. Marcus Johansson over the blue line. Left circle with a shot. It rose past the far post wide. Verhaeghe didn't do much with it there. Wild couldn't keep it in the zone. And with both teams finishing a change, the Panthers peel back. 7 minutes expired time in the third. Forsling lugs it along. And now Ekblad to fire it in. Zuccarello punched it off the dasher. Furthered it through center for Rossi with Kaprizov over the blue line. Marco Rossi right wing side. Threw it towards the slot. That was poked free. Zuccarello will grab it, spinning it blindly across the ice where Brodin had pinched in, but the Panthers, in the form of Balinskis, able to just get it out for a moment. Right back in it goes. Mikkola pounds it around to the left side for Verhaeghe, whose pass is errant. And this is icing on Florida.
And Joe, talking about the size, especially when you get in the playoffs and around your own net, that's where you have to have the big, heavy guys, because you're going to have a lot of traffic coming in there, just crashing the goaltender and doing whatever they can do. But Minnesota has some. When you look at Bogosian, you look at Murray, you look at Middleton. I mean, those are pretty good-sized guys. Then you need that type of player like a Faber that can move the puck for you, get some good things happening offensively.
Is it fair to say that some of the teams that, you know, have those bigger bodies at times can be more committed to the front of the net?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely can be. There's no question. And, you take every advantage you possibly can, and size can be an advantage in many cases with teams.
You're just thinking back to John Hines' comments Saturday. Again, you talked about the time just how big Vegas is. He said you got to win both net fronts. And same thing against the Flyers, kind of a rugged, hard-nosed team, maybe without that experience and pedigree of some of these recent Stanley Cup champs. But again, today, John Hines talking about you got to be good around your own net when you're playing the Panthers. I mean, so much can come down to those details right outside that blue crease. The willingness to go there and the willingness to win battles.
Yeah.
Spurgeon, headmans. Jones takes it, sauntered it in. It was blocked partially. Jones stays with it, scooping it off for Spurgeon. He'll lift it around the boards. Grabbing it, Husnudinov, played it off the wall, looking for Gaunce. Kulikov there to Lundell. Lundell away from some pressure, hustled it back to Dmitry Kulikov. And now Luostarinen, checked by Gaunce, right by the Wild bench. It's feathered in. Fleury plays it to Spurgeon, quickly moving it now to Chisholm. Chisholm flicks it up into the air. Gaunce swats at it, connected on the bouncing puck, able to send it in. 11 minutes to go in the third. 3 third-period shots for Minnesota. The deficit at 3. Ekblad, headman. Merrill able to take over, got it through center ice, Shore. Off to Hartman, he'll sail it in. Bobrovsky just catching it, reaching up over his crossbar, and he'll get a whistle. 10:41 left in the third. The Wild down 4-1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
This week on Let's Go with Bill Belichick, Max Crosby, Peter King, and me, Jim Gray. Coach Belichick, University of North Carolina. When did this come into your mind?
The way college football has evolved, it's really a lot like pro football. Players are now receiving compensation, and a lot of college coaches contact me and ask me about negotiating and so forth, and kind of the more I looked at it, the more it looked like a version of what I've been doing.
Listen to the extended version of Let's Go, now available exclusively on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, a hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on SiriusXM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on demand with the SiriusXM app.
Score!
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Florida leads in the shot department by 3, 27-24. They also lead in the scoring department by 3, that being 4-1. We've got 10:41 to go here in period number 3. We'll celebrate the holidays with us next Monday for a Central Division collision against the Chicago Blackhawks presented by Toyota. After all, there is no better gift than a Wild win. Buy tickets now at wild.com/hockey tickets.
Panthers came in with the 5th most total goals in the NHL. Also with the 5th most 5-on-5 goals in the NHL. They can fill it up. Again, what's sort of been surprising looking at their numbers is that they have given up so many goals as well this year. They play a lot of high-scoring games, as evidenced by Monday in Edmonton, a 6-5 final. Florida here carries this puck ahead. On the road this year, they have combined with their opponent just under 7 goals per game, 6.94. They play a lot of exciting ones if you're just fan of the game, I guess, from a neutral standpoint. Score a lot, but they give up a bunch.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you're a Stanley Cup champion, you got a target on your back every time you step on the ice, and other teams want to beat you.
Great point. They're going to bring their best, you'd imagine, most nights as Foligno squeezes it along. Faber set one in front, a tip by Hartman. Kicked out by Bobrovsky. It's Kaprizov out with Hartman and Foligno here. Panthers saunter along. Verhaeghe lifts it in. Wild coming into this game, we're 10-1-0 against the Eastern Conference. For whatever reason, we talked about that against the Flyers Saturday. Yeah. If we can figure out why, maybe we can make some money. I don't know. Here's Boldy carrying ahead. It's poke check. And Evan Rodriguez for Florida skips it ahead. It's tipped in and chasing to it A.J. Greer. Greer trying to bank it off Fleury. And the Veteran goaltender not fooled. Will just grab it and get a whistle with 9:17 to go. Another stoppage here. We're halfway home in the third. Still a 4-1 deficit for Minnesota. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout.
Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account.
What?
With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save.
So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done?
Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account.
That's a flex.
This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO.
At CHS, we know what it takes to feed and fuel the world, to integrate a global ag and energy supply chain, to advocate for farmers in their fields and around the world, to build communities, invest in rural America, and empower rural economies. It takes courage, conviction, commitment. It takes the nation's leading farmer-owned cooperative. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS.
Scoreboard update. The games in progress include in Salt Lake City, the Canucks have opened up a 2-1 lead over the Utah Hockey Club. 10:45 left to go in that one. Utah in town Friday to finish up this 5-game homestand. Jets are in Anaheim. They've taken a 2-1 lead over the Ducks. Scheifele with his 18th of the year. That's the go-ahead goal midway through period number 3. Earlier, the Red Wings beat the Flyers 6-4. The Maple Leafs beat the Stars in Big D. 5-3 was the final in that one. Back to Joe and Tom.
And you look at Minnesota right now, Joe. You got 2 big games coming up here this weekend. You got Friday night here against Utah. You've got the Saturday in Winnipeg. And they get Chicago next week. So Minnesota's got to pick it up. They may not win this hockey game. Obviously, you're down by 3 goals. But stranger things have happened. But at the same time, you got to prepare yourself for that next outing, wherever it may be.
Of course, we hope to have more information on Philip Gustafsson, as well as the progress of Eric Sinek in the coming days. Wild with 3 players on IR as of this morning, plus Trenyon, who is day-to-day. .9:17 to go. Face-off to the right of Fleury. Boudreau and Luostarinen on it. Chisholm got it free. Boldy angled it out the center. Turn, tried to whip one middle of the ice. Nothing there. Lundell comes the other way and makes the Wild turn and chase. Chisholm back to paddle along. Spurgeon took a healthy hit in the corner by Lundell. Boudreau battles. Tries to dig it free. Luostarinen bothering him. Reinhart tipped off Lundell. Found a man at the point. Mikkola shot. And he scores. Nico Mikkola beats Fleury off his left arm, and it's 5-1 Panthers.
Yeah, losing the draw in the defensive zone once again, and it results in another goal, a 4-1 lead now by the Panthers. And Mikkola does a good job of just securing that puck, taking a good wrist shot, taking a look where he's going to go with it. And Fleury tried to look like he went underneath that left arm of his. But it's in the net, and that really will vacate a lot of these seats right now. This one coming at 11 minutes and 10 seconds. 4th of the season
for the large human that is Nico Mikkola. Panthers top 5 in the NHL in goals by defensemen. They have a couple of tallies by blue liners here tonight. So this was a 1-1 game late into the first period, and then Mackie Samoskevich beating Fleury from the circle to the left of the goaltender. That made it 2-1. Panthers haven't looked back since.
For number 77, Nico Mikkola. Assisted by number 15, Anton Lundell, and number 13, Sam Reinhart. Time of the goal, 11-10.
Wild are offside here with 8:24 to go in the third period.
From Lundell and Reinhart.
Yeah, you just sense on the bench right now, Minnesota's bench, kind of the ejection that they're experiencing right now. But you know what? The one thing about this game, there's so many, this season, there's so many games, you don't have much time to think about it. So you got to pick it up and be ready for that next one. I'm sure they'll practice tomorrow. Coach will try and get them jacked up for that next game coming up.
Panthers on their way to their 8th win by 3 or more goals this season. My point earlier about them being able to fill it up offensively. Very balanced attack. And 5th in league in goals per game coming in. They've won 6 games this year by 1 goal, 6 by 2 goals, and before tonight, 7 by 3 or more. However, on the flip side, kind of shocking, as Brodin turns and shoots one. Bobrovsky the save, rebound for Zuccarello, backdoor pass for Kaprizov, and it goes into the corner. I was kind of stunned when I saw that the Panthers had lost 9 games this year by 3 or more goals already. One of them to Minnesota on October the 22nd, a 5-1 win for the Wild. When they had a 2-0 lead after 20, added 3 more in the second, chased Bobrovsky in that hockey game. Spencer Knight played the third. Panthers turning the trick here tonight as they've got the 5-1 lead on the road. With 7.5 left. Samoskevich. In his NHL debut in this building last season, he'll wind it in, and Bogosian incidentally played that in the netting deep in his own end. And another whistle.
Yeah, the Panthers not letting up either. They're moving that puck very well, going north with it, trying to get into that Minnesota defensive zone. And Minnesota's not getting a lot of opportunities to get shots at the other end. Bobrovsky, of course, longtime netminder in the NHL, doing his job down there for his team.
Well, it was interesting, Paul Maurice this morning when asked about the Wild, and he said off the hop that he meant this, or he means it as he was saying it as a compliment. He talked about how the Wild play a very consistent game. He said they're the type of team you can watch one period of and basically know their game. As a drop pass here sends in the Panthers for a shot, Mikkola bidding for another, and Fleury makes that save. And Tom, to that point, the opposing coach talking about watching the Wild and sort of, you know their game. When they're on it, you watch a period and you kind of can see what they're all about.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, John Hines and his staff have done a good job of getting this team up for most of the games this year. This one, they just didn't seem the jump that we're looking for all the way through. And, of course, being the Stanley Cup champions, we want to say, hey, there's a reason we have that emblem on our mantle at home, that being their logo, of course. And this is a good hockey club, and if they can stay healthy, they may be right there at the end.
Hartman in front of the Wild bench, flips it ahead. Back to grab it is Balinskis. Uvis Balinskis, Latvian-born, played for his home country in the Olympics and the World Championships. As Tkachuk now for Florida curls back. 22 points in the Stanley Cup playoffs last year from Matthew Tkachuk. What a run it was. Helping his team win Game 7 against Edmonton. Off the rush here, a wrister by Tkachuk was blocked. Spurgeon helps it to Hartman. Hartman able to just fight it out to center. As we near 6 minutes left. The Wild down 5-1. Evan Rodriguez now. Hill headman, Tkachuk lost it. Hartman plays it back for Jonas Brodin. Flings it along, Faber at the red line, laces it in. Kulikov pressured by Johansson. Turned it over, Boldy from a tough angle, couldn't get it to go. A.J. Greer now, or Gadjevich. Gadjevich fires it through center, hacking at it, Brodin, able to chop it free to Johansson, and now Gaudreau. Finding Boldy, immediately pressured and lost the puck to Greer. The other way, Gadjevich, left circle, a shot trapped by Fleury, on the wrister by Tomáš Nosek.
Well, Fleury's played a pretty good game considering the number of shots that have come his way. Difficult shots also, so we'll see what happens here for the next 5 minutes and 38 seconds.
Our final break of regulation. The Wild down 5-1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Xcel Energy.
Beautiful mountains, wide open spaces, bustling cities and towns. There's a lot to love in our home states. And at Xcel Energy, we take pride in helping our local communities thrive. Beyond providing reliable energy, we help support the local economy and fund education with grants, because your home is our home. And together, we can make it a better place to live, work, learn, and play. See how at excelenergy.com/community.
There's a popular swimming pool game named after 13th century Italian explorer Marco Polo. But what happens when the water freezes? May we suggest a new game named after 21st century Austrian forward Marco Rossi? Marco, Golo!
Scores! Marco Rossi!
Not weird. Wild.
With Wild season tickets, you don't just secure a seat. Unlock exclusive access, personalized service, and more. Become a season ticket member today at wild.com/answer the call.
Texas Spirit started with Tito's handmade vodka. Back in the 90s, we had a dream as big as our home state. With grit, determination, and heart, we broke ground on the first legal distillery in Texas. Today, at the center of the craft spirits movement, we're still Texas-made and Texan-owned. Our copper caps line shelves, and we fill glasses with the smoothest juice around. Remember, just because it looks like vodka doesn't mean it tastes like Tito's. 40% alcohol by volume, naming 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Hi, this is Darby Hendrickson of the Minnesota Wild. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone, except you, Tom Waite.
Wow! Mommy's kissing Santa Claus!
Hang on a second. I think that liner was changed. I thought it was Kevin Fulness that he chirped at one point. Is that the magic of editing, you think, TR?
I think he's been doing that for years.
The
It must be the magic. It has to be. Darby would never say that.
Well, we hope Darby's doing well in Nashville. They've won a couple of games recently, but just a steep hill for the Predators to try to climb out of.
It really is, but just keep pecking away at it, and you never know what's going to happen. Remember that St. Louis was, last place January the 2nd, wound up got in the playoffs and won the Stanley Cup that year.
And, of course, the Predators last year went on an amazing run to just get in. They're one of the best teams in the second half of the season, looking for more of that magic they would be hoping for to try and get back in the thick of it. Panthers here in front of the Wild 5-1 with just over 5 minutes left. Wild from right to left on your radio dial as Merrill chops one ahead. It ends up trickling into the Panther zone. Balinskis feeds it off the boards. Osterinen couldn't get out of his own zone cleanly. Jones has it. Swept one along. Without his stick, Lundell nearly deflected it out to center. Brodin weaves in. Now a pass back at the point gets away from Faber, and the Wild have to regroup. Brock Faber off the left wing dasher. Kaprizov trickles it back to Faber. Slapped along for Zuccarello to carry in. He'll rim it around the boards. Panthers, the NHL leader in hits and hits per game this season. Total hits and hits per game. And they had 39 of them Monday in Edmonton, and they have not stopped finishing every check, it feels like. Here's Kaprizov carrying the Wild ahead. He'll cut through the slot. Angles right side. Kaprizov left it between his legs. Nobody there. So the Panthers come through their neutral zone. Lundell lays it in. Nearing almost 11:30 local time for this late start. And a lot of the fans obviously have tried to get a jump on things.
You bring up a point also, Joe, and thinking about, players get into a routine. You have your practice in the morning, you have your breakfast, you have stuff like that. Then the game starts at 7 o'clock. But also now you're not starting until almost 9 o'clock at night. And if you're a visiting team, that's great because in the afternoon you get some extra rest and so on. But if you're playing at home, then you got little kids running around, different things are happening in the household. You're trying to get ready because the snow's coming and there's so much taking place. So, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but it certainly does have a little bit of an effect on it.
Lino just crashed in net, couldn't come up with a loose puck in the blue paint. Under 3.5 left now. I'm glad you brought that up, Tom, because on the pregame show, the extended pregame show, and great job by Kevin Fulness to help tap dance through all of that. But Jason King joined me, and I talked to him about national TV game, late start, and all the eyeballs will be on you for the most part. Has a net off behind Fleury for a whistle. And he did say that the thing that coaches need to do for a late game like that is try to keep the routine as normal as possible for these guys.
Yeah, you do, and you try to, but you know what? When you're starting 2 hours later than normal, it's really more difficult. And especially, all of a sudden we're getting the weather report, there's going to be snow coming, and so they're trying to get the snow blowers going, the shovels are ready. There's lots of things happening, so not using that as an excuse. Certainly Florida's been the better team in this hockey game all the way through. They had a good start and have never really looked back.
Mikkola attacks off the one draw. And we have a penalty call here. And now we got a fight. Hartman, frustrated a bit, dropped the gloves with Lundell. Will he engage him? And Lundell will not. And those that remain salty about that sequence.
Yeah, the official stand right by Hartman also. making sure those players can't get together.
Jared Spurgeon will go over to join the conversation between the two referees and Matthew Tkachuk to make sure he's able to get his side of the story in there.
And you want the clarification of what the penalty is going to be. And here are the calls.
.38 for Minnesota is 2 minutes for sloshing, a 10-minute misconduct. For the Panthers, Lindell has a 10-minute misconduct as well.
Well.
So Lindell gets a jump on getting to the team bus.
Yep. Gets the dry towels. I think his frustration on the part of Minnesota right now also is just, let's get this over with. So it'll be a power play then for the Florida Panthers. It'll be a 5-on-4 with Hartman getting the additional penalty on the slash.
Panthers power play is 1-for-1. Johansson will serve the minor to Hartman. Gauntz, Foligno, Brodin, and Faber on the PK. No chance for Brendan Gauntz to show what he can do on the penalty kill in his wild debut.
Yeah, I was wondering if they're going to just send Hartman to the dressing room because there's only 2 minutes and 58 seconds left.
Yeah, I think he and Lundell both went down their respective hallways.
Yep.
Gauntz won the draw back. The Wild carry around Brodin, plays it down the ice as Gadjevich runs into him. So Jonah Gadjevich getting a little bump from Paul Maurice's head coach, some power play ice time with Nosek and Tkachuk, as well as Schmidt and Greer. Well, coaches reward their gritty players times like this. Tom up 4 on a power play late on the road. Lets the guys that don't get that ice time get a sniff.
Yep.
Tkachuk lugs it ahead for Florida. He'll spear one off looking for Greer. Back for to Spurgeon. He'll blast it ahead, and Jones gets it out the center. And really in the same fashion, John Hines giving a couple of guys some PK reps here. See what maybe they can do. Again, the Wild searching for answers on the penalty kill.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time yesterday on the penalty kill at Tria.
One point during practice yesterday, John Hines halted everything and being pretty vocal out there, not liking what he had seen in those various reps. After a block shot by Spurgeon, it's Greer forcing it to Nosek. His pass back at the point, stolen away by Husnudinov, who fights through the neutral zone and feeds Jones. Jones shorthanded, left circle, a wrister that went wide. Bogosian paddles it in right wing boards. Schmidt wheels it behind his own net. Final 85 seconds of this one. Wild about to drop to 2-4-0 in their last 6. And that'll be half of their regulation losses. They'll be saddled with 8 regulation losses after this one. And again, 4 of them in the last 6 games.
And you're right, Joe. And I go back once again to saying that some of your best players aren't on the ice. You need your good squad. I mean, when you're a little bit thin, you want to make sure those high-end players are on the ice. And unfortunately for Minnesota, they haven't been because of the injuries.
Final minute here. Panthers power play is over. But they're front running 5-1 in St. Paul. Wild all-time 11-2-3 at home against the Panthers. Florida's going to get a rare regulation win in this barn. Oh, a shot hit Faber up high. And then the puck goes in. Faber's going to have to go to the dressing room. He's looking for immediate attention.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't blow that dead. But really, it hit Faber, careened free, and then went in the back of the net moments later.